Good evening, Speed Gaming. I am DarkMoonEX. I am joined today by Dangwoo, who's going to be joining me in voice chat in just a second. We're going to be having for you a very special Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament match today. We've got 4 players, 2 of them battling each other. LordFizzlebeef has taken on Tyerenex, while AliGerbrap is going up against MeleeWizard. We're going to double check the layout once we're in, make sure we have everything set up, but I'm assuming it's going to be top versus top, bottom versus bottom in this cage match. Woo, I'm looking forward to a good one. That last race we had some seriously killer fiends, and this next one is going to be fantastic. That's loud. How's everyone doing today? As I said, I am DarkMoonEX, going to be guiding you through this great match that we have today. So as you are probably well aware, this is a spring tournament match, 3rd week that's going on. If you have any questions about the tags, anything you want to know, let me know in the chat, and I will make sure to bring this up to date for you. We apparently are still working on some technical difficulties right now, so I'm going to fill you in on the details of what we're doing. As this is a 3rd week match, there are going to be certain things that are available, certain things that are banned. We're also working on getting the full layout set up, so just bear with us for a couple while we get this all set up. Red Mages are, of course, the required class this week. Those of you who love Red Mage, that's your type of game right now. Meanwhile, as far as your party is concerned, our band class, the one that is made to walk the plank, I do believe is the Black Mage. So no Black Mages for you today. If there are spells in the Black slot that you're going to want, then that's going to be the case. You're not going to be able to get them. If Nuke is out of range for your Red Mage and Red Wizard and your Ninja, then Nuke is just not on the table for you. It sucks, but that's the way it is. Meanwhile, your standard flags that you're going to expect from this race are still in effect. We've got the town shuffle going on, so obviously Corneria is going to be Corneria. Everything else is going to be mixed up, so you might have Elfland and Elfland, which we've seen a number of times. The elves seem to like being at Elfland. Other times it might show up at Provoca, or Gaia, or Melmond, the trash spot as we like to call it. So you never know where the towns are going to show up. You're also going to be looking for your incentivized locations, your Ice Cave, your Marsh Cave, your Ordeals. Various treasures could be showing up there. We got your standard key item treasures fully mixed up. Everything you're going to want going on right there. So just because you get the crystal, turn into Matoya, doesn't mean she's going to give you the herb. Anything could be anywhere. You're going to have to just keep an eye on that and follow the quest chains wherever they may lead. In the mix is also a ribbon. So that's going to lead to 2 key items being free because they're getting a free canal and a free bridge. You have to search around the map and check for everything you can, because you never know where those treasures are going to happen. If you find a ribbon in a box, you're going to have to just keep searching because you're not sure if that's your incentive ribbon or not. Go mode sometimes is hard to find, but when you finally get it, it tastes oh so sweet. This is the Sail to High Seed set of flags right here. So we're going at, because of that free bridge and that free canal, as soon as you get the ship, the entire world is your oyster. It's your mollusk, as Discworld loved to say. Now, you could find the canoe and the airship pretty early, but you never know, and you could spend an hour sailing around the globe looking for your next key item and your next way to get to the final location. With this set of flags, it is entirely possible that you could have an airshipless seed if everything falls a certain way. Obviously, the airship has to be within reach, but that doesn't mean you're going to need it to be able to get to Topher and start fighting all the bosses. It's an interesting flag set and a very enjoyable one, and it's a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to this race here with AliGerbrap versus MeleeWizard and LordFizzlebeef versus Tyerenex. Dangwoo, I see you're in the chat with me. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing I'm excited. Like I just can't even speak properly because it's a 4-man race, but it's 2 1v1s. And to answer the Jeffy's question in chat, LordFizzlebeef is 1-1. He lost against Falconic and won against McGreglypuff. Tyerenex is also 1-1. He lost against the Trystal MTG and won against Abraxas Muse. And then on the other side, we got 2 0-2s, AliGerbrap who lost to One Fine Day in SVJ, and MeleeWizard, who lost to Crab Cakes and Sonny Wrath.
Well, I mean, when you're up against Crab Cakes, I think you're kind of expecting you're going to take a hit there, because Crab Cakes is amazing.
Yeah, I kind of learned that last night.
Yeah, went up against a race with her?
Yes, I did, and I also ran up with two. I ran with two thieves, and I ran up against unrunnable wizards that rolled 3 hits.
Yeah, when you've got a thief, the last thing you want to see is unrunnables, because that's pretty much the thief's only job is running.
That's exactly what I was planning, and that seed decided it was going to change everything that I wanted to do. Or, well, it decided to be against me from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely brutal from the sound of it. So it looks like we are still working out some technical difficulties right now. We'll have this race going just as soon as we can. Chad, if you have any questions, anything you want to know about, just let us know. We are happy to answer questions. So we've got 1-1s battling it out, and 0-2s battling out. Now, just so people are aware, this is a 1v1 match at the top and 1v1 at the bottom. Even if, like, 2 of the players at the top both win, that's not going to affect the standing of the players at the bottom. They are separate as far as their standings are concerned. They're just sharing on the same seed, so we don't get confused. We only have to follow one type of race at a time here. It's a lot. We have 2 trackers working on this race for us, Moist Mogwai and Ale. They're going to be handling all the stuff going on right now, so we are in good hands here.
The mother duck herself is tracking for us. I feel special. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
She recently graduated me. She recently graduated me. Oh yeah. And then last night, well, I didn't really do much of a good showing for her. I'm sorry.
I'm sure at some point they're gonna start thinking about graduating me after we get the next tournament going in the summer, which I'm not sure that's been officially announced yet, so I'm not gonna share any details about it. But I know that one's in the works and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I've already thrown my hat to the ring for that one.
And in chat, Moist Mogwai says I was hogging up the pond. What can I say, the big the duck has to bully the smaller ducks. And that's what I wanted to do, but you kicked me out.
That's funny. Yeah, I think right now we're having issues getting the 4-player layout working. It keeps trying to default to the 2-player layout, just so everyone's aware, but we will get this just as soon as we can. So, Dingwoo, since you're a more skilled hand at this game than I am, how are you, Oh, hold on, we're getting an update right now. Apparently we may not be doing the full 4-player race right now. We're having issues with the 4-player layout. I think they're talking about doing the LordFizzlebeef versus Tyerenex battle right now, because the 4-player layout, for whatever reason, is just not working, unfortunately. So we are going to start getting this race going in just a couple. I'm going to double-check in with the Hex chat. Dangwoo, as an experienced hand, this is what I was going to ask you about. What are the kind of things you're looking for in this Sail to High Seas flag set?
Like, what to expect? Like,
what are you expecting? What are you hoping for? What kind of torture do you want to see these 2 players go through?
I mean, I can definitely say, finding nuke level 1 is always exceptional. You'll probably see 3 red mages instantly being chosen since the black mage isn't available. If a fade comes out, you'll probably see 1 or 2 white mages with a red mage. The thief will probably be switched out if any of those things will go, or shows up. And it's weird because the early game can be so detrimental to people, or so tricky, if you want to call it, because the spells with the shuffled towns, like your level 2 spells are not guaranteed, your level 3 spells are not guaranteed.
Yeah. It's difficult when you don't know if Provoka is going to be at Provoka and what spells you can have. Your level 2 spells are going to be great when you can find them, because you're going to be able to take them, whether or not, they're exactly what you're looking for. But the problem is, who knows when you're going to find them? They could be at Gaia, and you have to have an airship to get them.
Yeah, and that's the very unfortunate part, too, because not only that, but that Big E has when you're incentivized key items. So if that's hidden in Gaia or Lefane, I mean, that's one down you have to try and find through the airship alone.
Yeah, it's a long walk to go to get that one key item you might need.
Yeah. Just doing a couple things, but you know it's really interesting because as what happened to me, the unrunnables will really mess you up. Like even if you go with a thief party or you go with anything, the unrunnables can really hurt you, especially when you don't have anything to go with.
And it's not just the unrunnables to worry about. Like if your thieves are getting surprise attacked by, as we've seen earlier, Germadusas of death. All the best run chance in the world still isn't going to help you when there are surprises just high enough. So, I think we're still slowly getting ready, but we're almost there. We can see that LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex are running, from the looks of it, the exact same party. Race is beginning in 10 seconds. It's interesting that neither of them decided to take a white mage. I'm kind of curious how that's going to play out for both of them. The race is a go. We should be seeing that momentarily on our stream. Dangwu, what do you think of their party makeup?
I mean, the thief is for the early game running. The two red mages is basic, just to have early game availability for all spells. The fighter's there just to kind of absorb, honestly. I assume there's going to be any rerolls just in case if anything happens with level 1 spells.
Yeah, I suppose if the white magic shop was good enough, we could see a reroll for that if there's spells that they want that are out of range. And I see we're actually moving now. Heading into Corneria, of course, doing our traditional starting checks of magic. Heal 3, Harm 4, those are nice spells to see in white magic, whereas Fast. Fast and Lock 2 and Slow 2, those are great. This is honestly a very loaded white and black magic set.
I have to admit, if I had seen this yesterday, I'd be very happy with my two thieves. Fast at level 1 with at least a clear spell. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's the one nice thing about the thief is you might not be able to put spells on him right now, but if you find that tail, you can give him anything magic-wise from level 1 through 4 of the black magic shops, and that fast there on level 1 is very useful. There's a couple spells there I'd probably think about grabbing now, and a couple I might save for later when I have a ninja, just so I can use them to buff the fighter.
Yeah, and we got imps with slow, basically just waste your time. I guess I would rather take that over them having nuke or scorch or thunder, so I'll take.
I mean, there is that. They are certainly making it clear that, you know, they want to be slow, they're going to slow you, that's their job at this point.
And that's exactly, the Tyerenex has ran into 2 of them now. Oh, and they have gaze too, so they are spellcasters that like to waste your time, and Excalibur right off the bat that we can't use.
I mean, it's a delicious sword to find, depending upon what they're doing, and dragon armor. Well, they have the Knight starter pack right there whenever they finally find that tail. I guess you hope that King or Sarah maybe have it, although really you want to get up in the air first, find that tail later, but I mean, if it was me, there'd be a temptation if it's worth enough to maybe sell that Excalibur and bank on getting a Vorpal or a Mazmoon, because money in the early games to buy things is at a premium. King had the cube, I see. I missed what the princess had.
The king had the herb, and Sarah had the cube. It's not much of a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the herb is nice to have right now. It does point you in the direction of eventually heading over to Elf Castle. I don't know that necessarily I would skip out on... Did he just sell the dragon armor?
He did. He actually sold the dragon armor. I'm surprised he didn't sell Excalibur instead of the dragon armor. But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Dragon armor is so much more useful in the end game than the Excal. Excal's great, but you have enough other swords that could be just as useful, but selling the dragon armor, that is risky, and I like it. So yeah, as I was saying, you're going to want to... There's still the temptation of going to Matoya and Provoka, which a lot of runners do, but the seed is kind of pointing you towards going to Elfland right now.
And it definitely points to Elfland, but Tyerenex is going north, or I'm sorry, east. He's going to go see what Matoya and Provoka, what the town of Provoka is. Mm-hmm. And to kind of shout out to a couple people over in chat. We got Wilkliosis popping in, a Tiny Fairy, One Fine Day is saying Excalibur is more important than the Dragon Sword.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think Dragon Armor is more important. That's what's so great about this game. We have so many people and so many different opinions of it. So, as you noted, Tyerenex was heading off towards Latoya. I didn't see a whole heck of a lot that was worthwhile in her cave, just some social security money and a few random crap items. But meanwhile, LordFizzlebeef is checking off towards the dwarves, and it looks like he's going to do the play that I was talking about, heading off towards Elfland.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that, because I did actually a pregame interview with LordFizzlebeef, and he said his plan against Tyerenex is not to doubt himself, and if he gets a chance to just go right into Marsh Cave, if King and Sarah does not reveal anything right away. And that's kind of what they did, minus the herb.
Yeah. I could see, I think he might go turn in the herb first if I was banking on the strategy you just said, before heading over to Marsh Cave. Also, maybe see if there's some save items that are worth buying in Elfland right there. So just as an FYI, we are having some issues with the buttons right now for the tracker. Moist Mogwai and Ale are working in the background to try and get them working and highlighted, so just bear with us while we have that. If anyone has questions about what they've collected, though, we will make sure that we let you know, and so you know what's being tracked and what everything key item-wise is available right now. And LordFizzlebeef is proving me wrong, skipping out on Elfland right now and immediately going over to Marsh Cave. So, you know, that's why he's in this tournament and I'm not.
I think it's a gamble. I mean, I've heard that one of the people that he was not afraid of, but, you know, worried about is definitely the Tyerenex, and I think he's making that gamble.
They're both solid players. I've watched a lot of their races in the past, and, I mean, in a race between the two of them, I would probably put it like 50-50 about who's going to win this one. Not just because they're each 1-1, but just how good they are in general in comparison to each other. So, I mean, going into this, I think it'd be a coin flip about who it is, and when you're 1-1, you want to take the gambles. You don't want to get demoted down to 1-2.
Yeah, and Tyerenex learns that the wolves will not be denied, and they are hungry for light warriors with the Lit 2 that causes a wipe on his side.
Yeah, I mean, Lit 2 is what we consider a chip damage spell once, you know, you're late enough in the game, but this early on, it's enough to wipe out a party. I think back when we used to have to always go to Provoca to fight the pirates to get the key item to get moving in the world, that was they constantly rolled with things like Lit 2 and so forth, and that was part of the reason why we had to have the safe pirates flag.
Pro ring up on the top side of Marsh is very important.
That's worth walking out.
That's definitely from the absorb and the protect from death. Yeah, I'll definitely take that all day.
This early in the game, that's a great item. Like, I'm a fan of resetting out of Marsh Cave when I don't find anything useful, but that's useful enough that I would keep it. Now, I saw in the chat a little while earlier, someone was asking about what the difference is between Fade and Nuke. Not that we've seen either of them, but Fade, of course, is a white magic spell, while Black Magic is the Nuke spell. The thing is that, Fade is a slightly weaker spell, although they're both non-elemental. Scum with Glare. Fade is a slightly weaker spell, but if you can find one or the other, you're never going to complain, especially if your red mage can have either of them.
And to update people, if you missed it, Tyerenex on the right made it all the way to Provoca. It is Gaia. He reset out as soon as he made it up there.
I mean, I would too. Gaia's nice to know about, because if you get Oxyel at some point, you've got a way to get to Kraken, but like level 7 magic and stuff you're just not going to want to buy right now, it's not really that worth it to stick around.
And to be honest right now, for both runners, it is a... how do I say this? Just a brutal crawl. LordFizzlebeef is trying to get through Marsh, just fighting all these things that are slowing him down. Tyerenex on the right keeps running into wolves and getting a Lit 2 blasted and killing off his team, so he's got to reset every single time.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed with this flag set that I've been playing in lately. It really feels like scums have a high chance to roll with something nasty. Now, maybe they always had that chance, and I'm just seeing it now. Like, you know, every enemy has the same chance of rolling stuff, and, you know, previous flag sets that we had in our previous tournaments, Marsh Cave wasn't as important. but it really feels like the scums are super nasty this time around.
Yeah. They and they don't, and scums don't get hurt by physical attacking, so that makes it worse. You have to use spell casting unless you just overpower them, which is really hard in these lower levels, or you get crits.
Yeah, there's just not enough strength on your characters right now to be able to do the overpower.
Ooh, and Tyerenex goes to Elflin, and it's Provoka, which is big, and LordFizzlebeef finds the crown in the incentivized marsh. So both of these, I mean, if LordFizzlebeef gets out, he's still in the lead.
Yes, he could even wander over to Elflin, turn in the herb, and then get his magic and so forth, and he'd still be in the lead. We got Warp, Lit 3, both at the Black Magic Shop. Those are both useful spells. And honestly, I think at this point, if LordFizzlebeef knew about Warp, he would have bought it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he's gonna kick himself when he gets to Elflin. He's gonna go in there, he's gonna see it's the Provoka, and Invis 2 is available, which is very useful. The 2 red mages and a knight all casting Invis 2. Your whole party's not gonna get hit by crack.
Invis 2 is useful. I personally, I'd probably also pick up Extra on my 2 red mages, just so I could have them for the Temple of Fiends Revisited bosses. It's one of those cases where, you know, it's not the easiest spell to land, but if you can get it to land, wiping out the magical defense of your enemies, then you can start baning and bracking them and pulling the Wilthiosis special. Yes, Doogie MacGyver, since you were asking in chat, LordFizzlebeef decided to head immediately to Marsh, while Tyerenex took the time to go get the canoe, apparently, and explore Elflin, because Elflin is Provoka right now. We're assuming LordFizzlebeef is going to be kicking himself, because this is not a Marsh Cave to be trifled.
Yeah, the Arachnids have Fire 2, the Wolves have Lit 2, Scums have Glare, which you just seen.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. And he's what, on his 4th, 5th dive right now?
Yeah, he's about 2 or 3, honestly, because he went up north, he reset, and then he finally made it to the Wizards on a second one. So this is number.
Okay. If it was me, and we'll see how far he gets. I mean, he knows exactly where to head at this point. But I think if I wiped another time or two, I might say, like, I might back out, and then think about coming back to this afterwards once I've seen what's over at Elflin. It's a hard gamble, because he doesn't know that Elflin is Provoka, but at the same time, we know it's a good bet. Oh, and there's the bottle. So now that we have Gaia, so that bottle turning can be done.
And he's got the canoe, so he can check Crescent. If nothing's there, he can just go north, take the canoe, go to the old Provoka, which is Gaia, turn that in if he needs to, and he doesn't even have to check out the incentivized Ice Cave, which I think he's going to do. He's heading east, but he's running into wolves with Lit 2. Instantly resets out.
Well, and that's a nice plan about the move right here. If he really wants to do Ice Cave, he can also go check the Volcano Armory area and grab a few quick levels off the EXPs and other good features there, pull himself up to like level 9 or 10, and by the time he gets to Ice Cave, he'll be in a better position to actually explore it, get the key item, and then move on his way up to Gaia to turn in that key item as well.
And, I mean, I know LordFizzlebeef had told me that he was going to be aggressive in this, and I like the call, but unfortunately the seed is not being very generous, as 2 more of his top 2 Light Warriors are down again.
Yeah. I mean, he could make it out now, it just depends on power of position, but he is running low on magic as it is, and it's going to be a hard way for him to get out, especially if he gets another unrunnable like that. Glare misses, thankfully. Lit 2 comes off, and those scums go to... Oh, no!
Yeah, the only downside of Lit 2 is it's not nearly as effective against the scums. He doesn't have the Pro Ring from up on the top side of Marsh because he had to reset out. So he doesn't have that Pro Ring, and there goes the wipe.
That is harsh, and these scums seem very prevalent.
I mean, at this point for LordFizzlebeef, I like it, but at the same time, after a couple of these wipes, I think I would have this slight, intrigue into what is over in Elfland. I might want to check that out since I've already got the save anyways. Just make my way over there, see what it is. If it's Lefane, I exit out, or I reset out, and I go back into the Marsh Dive, or I, look to see what maybe Provoca is at this point.
Well, there's incentive to go see what's over at Elfland for him right now anyway, since he has that herb. He doesn't know it's going to get him the canoe, but it's a good thing to pick up, and it might just encourage him to keep wandering and not come back to this Marsh Cave anytime soon. These awful, nasty, glaring scums.
Yeah, you got arachnids with sleep, and fire too, so they're not... So they put you to sleep, and then they light your butt on fire. How nice of them.
Well, it's after they put you to sleep, they want to tuck you in, make sure your little electric heating blanket is going. They're being very nice about it.
You know what? You're right. They're my new best friend. You're
just tuck you in and get you all cozy. It's so sweet.
Looks like LordFizzlebeef on the left is going to take the fight against the wizards. I don't know if he noticed that he can run or he just wanted the experience. On the right, Tyerenex runs into unrunnable ghouls.
It's questionable. They're both at the same level, so presumably whatever trouble that FizzleBeef has right now, Tyerenex is going to see as well. And since Tyerenex has already run through more of the map, he has less incentive to exit out after dying here a few times, if he dies here a few times. Although it looks like he's getting much better luck right now with the attacks that are coming out. But yeah, this is oof. He's stun locked on these gargoyles right now. This is rough.
Yeah, when they're hitting for 4 hits and they're getting the little bonus amplification off of that stun,
yeah,
it's gonna be a slow death, and he's hoping. He's like, come on! Nope, there's the reset.
Okay, this. If this was me, this would have been one pass the last time that I would do this. I think I would just move on at this point, because you're gonna have to come back here eventually because of that crown.
Yep, and as a slight little recap for everybody, after taking out Garland, King had the herb, which led to the bottle. Sarah had the cube. Marsh incentivizes the crown, which you've seen a couple times by LordFizzlebeef.
And although it's marked on the tracker right now, Fizzle doesn't actually have the crown.
And Vicky gave us the canoe. So he traded in his ship, and he wanted to sail the rivers instead of the high seas.
Well, you know how it is. You're stuck in a town for a while. You're like, I don't need this ship anymore. I've got gambling debts to pay off. He hawked it, but he still felt like being a pirate, so he picked up that canoe. And then, wouldn't you know it, 4 warriors came up, beat the crap out of his guys. He's like, fine, take it. I don't need it now. I'll just stay here at Elfland. Really, it's all the fault of the warriors. He was just trying to be a good pirate, and they got in the way.
But Garland did nothing wrong. It was all the light warriors.
I mean, I feel bad for the runners being stuck in this awful, awful Marsh Cave, but on the flip side, this is the kind of Marsh Cave we want to see as viewers. Like, this is the terrible kind of Marsh Cave I never want to play, but I enjoy watching other people suffer.
The Dark Moon, you and I are gonna have a problem right now because I'm still having nightmares over last night's Marsh Cave. Okay.
Oh, I realized this wasn't in the race. This was me, like, a week ago. I was dealing with Lit 3 scums and arachnids that they would wipe my party every time, and the only progress I had was in Marsh Cave. I feel the pain. I really do.
Alright, on the left, LordFizzlebeef has all of his light warriors. He's gonna make it. He's gonna try and run out. On the right, Tyerenex runs into the scums. Oh, and on top of it, they have trance, too. You know what? I tell you, these things are... wow.
They're rough. But this is the farthest FizzleBeef has gotten so far. And he's on the second floor, he still has a couple guys. He needs to pray. He needs to pray, is what it is. And I would also probably, if it was me, I would put that thief in the front position, just so you don't get those surprise attacks, because it feels like the scums are ambush heavy. And that's part of what the thief can do, is reduce the chance of you getting ambushed.
Yeah, the only fortunate problem is with the thieves, they, equip a wooden armor if you get lucky?
Yeah, no, I understand. Come on. You can do it. No. Oh, God.
I believe in the thief.
I believe. Come on, thief, you can do it. 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Save. Save now. Yeah, burn that house. Don't worry about it. Just save.
Run, thief, run. Uh-oh. Oh, well, and then he dies to a Gurren. Okay, well, hey, he got out.
Getting out of this
That's
is going to be a pain, but he got this far. This is a huge accomplishment. Because as we see on the right side, Tyerenex is suffering from the same problems. It's just a brutal Marsh Cave.
Now, the good news is Tyerenex just needs to get to the crown. He's having problems just getting to the crown. LordFizzlebeef was able to get there, but he couldn't run it out.
And
so
you're right,
as soon as
he
Tyerenex,
does have warp, doesn't he?
Yes, he picked up warp, and he's got 2 red mages, so he can warp out instantly. And here it is, LordFizzlebeef probably just laughed at himself and said, "Why didn't I check?"
Yeah, that was probably a good 3 minutes or so easy that he wasted there trying to get through this without warp. But
because, I mean, to be completely honest, he made it there many times. He just couldn't run himself out.
He couldn't.
The Tyerenex is actually going to be a little greedy, it looks like. He's going to check a couple.
And this despite knowing how bad this Marsh Cave already is, but I guess it's that thing of, if you still have a red mage standing, it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, he just has 2 more. Unfortunately, he runs into scums. His fighter's down. He has the 1 thief, and we have the Bicky on the left-hand side. He's got the canoe. Oh, yeah, and he's leaving.
Yeah. I mean, I can't necessarily blame Tyerenex for checking those. You don't want it to be a case where there's a loose key item that you need sitting in Marsh Cave, because we've already seen that like several times in these races so far. You hate it when that happens because you don't want to have to go back. Even though it's not going to be as bad the second time around once you're level 20, Glare is still Glare.
And Tyerenex takes another wipe. And you know what? We were wrong. It was warp is actually level 2, and that's the reason why it's messing up Tyerenex. And because he lost his red mage, he was only able to have 2 charges of warp, so he had to run it out, or he had to run from the 2nd level to the 1st floor so he could warp out. And he got ambushed by red bones, and crawlers. Yeah.
Well, hopefully he can keep his red mages up long enough to be able to get out, because that's his key right there. The longer this takes, the more time that LordFizzlebeef is making back up again with that daring dive that he did.
There was definitely a daring dive, and so far it's working out, because even with warp, it's a very tough one. And to kind of welcome people into speed gaming, into this race, I see Melira's here. McGrigglypuff has joined. Tarnin's been here for a while. Welcome. Doogie MacGyver's hanging out, and Etap, who loves the war mech.
Yeah, and it does look like Fizzlebeef is going to go do the crown turn, and now that he has a few levels under him, some slightly better spells. And he gets the ship, so Fizzlebeef is able to sail the high seas.
So that's definitely our progression. Now he just has to kill Astos, which can be a very hard thing, but thankfully we have Lit 3, so that makes it a lot easier.
Well, because Astos has his skills mixed up in the rest of the pool, the insta-death spells that he always used to have aren't necessarily going to happen this time. Astos is much easier in the full randomizer than he ever is in the vanilla game.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you can definitely count on, this high absorb, almost guaranteed, his high evade for his levels, if you try and take him on at a lower level. Tyerenex takes another wipe. I believe that was the wizards, which are never easy, especially if they roll high hits.
But for Tyerenex, there is no question that he's going to do this until he gets through it, because there's not much else for him to do right now, sort of YOLOing over to Ice Cave.
Well, he could have went to Provoke and turned in the bottle, too.
There's that. But that's on the other side of the world, and I can't really blame him for this Marsh Cave dive. And without the crown, he can't get the sea to make the travel over to Provoca easier. Oh,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it was open. He could have made that when he originally went to Crescent, which is actually Lefane now. He could have made that play if he wanted to. It would have been a little dangerous because I don't think he had enough saves. But it was a play he could have done.
It was a play. Yeah, so he's over at Gaia. He's checking the Black Magic spells. I saw Saber at Black Magic 7. That's not really a key spell, so it's not so bad to see it there. Lots of basic armor to pick up. Chains are nice to see. Chains are nice and cheap for 18, and they're good protection for your red mages, so that's a nice find. Might have wanted that before he had to go do Marsh Cave, but too late now.
I'd like to thank Oro the Azure for the bits. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this race between two 1-in-1 racers, LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex, both very good racers.
We see the fairy is sitting on a rat tail right there, so as soon as they have the ability to, they can go cash that in and get using that Excalibur and Dragon Armor if, you know, they still have it, which Fizzle doesn't.
And I missed it. Looks like Oxale was for sale for 24,000.
Was that over at Gaia?
That was over in Gaia's item shop.
Okay. So, not that we found Onrak yet.
You know, it's funny is I really like finding Oxale early. I'm one of those weird people. If I can find Oxale early and Onrak available, I will dive that early.
Oh, that's right. LordFizzlebeef hasn't been over here yet. So he hadn't checked Matoya yet to see what she had. I'm like, why is he going back and doing those tests again? I don't remember anything being good, but he hadn't done them yet. So, and it looks like he's now sailing off towards Melmond to do the next check for him.
Oh no.
It's something that I always forget with the sail to high seas. It's like, Melmond is actually not that far away, and it's not necessarily level 5, although it is now. It's, I was gonna say, it's not necessarily Melmond with its level 5 magic, but this is Melmond right here. Tier 3...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but on the right, I don't believe Tyerenex was able to save when he exited out.
Oh.
He is making the hero run of all hero runs, trying to get to the old Elflin, which is the Provoca.
Gold bracelets at Melmond for a little over 16 grand. That's not a terrible price, but that's definitely putting them more towards endgame pricing than you really want to see right now. So we're hearing Brack and Bane are both at level 5, and I did see a Tier 3 at, as well as I think an Exit in the White Magic for level 5 there too. So Melmond has some decent stuff. That Exit is really the one that you're going to want, but I'm not certain if the Red Mages are going to be able to pick that one up or not. I haven't memorized the spell table well enough to know which spells they can get where beyond, like, the first couple.
I mean, I can definitely say Brack and Bane would be the first choice for the Wilcliosis. Tyerenex is really close to getting to Iprovoca. Okay.
There you go.
He can now breathe. He can now breathe.
He's safe. But yeah, no, I've seen Wilcliosis use Bane enough against the big bosses that I think now I'm just gonna buy it just to have the protection of it. I may never use it, but I'm gonna buy it. The Wilcliosis special, we all have to buy into it now.
That's right.
So, yeah, Fizzle's seeing Lufane over there, so now he knows the horrible truth of the matter.
Yeah, he's probably a little sad about that, but
yeah.
At least you know where it is. I have to admit, since you're only going there once anyways, I'd rather find a location there. Lufane in such an easy, accessible location is kind of a bummer.
It is. It's an absolute bummer. So we see some, Ale was nice enough to give me the spell tracking list through the various slots. I'm seeing that Exit was in the 4th slot for Melmond, so that is out of range of the Red Wizard and the Red Mage. Unfortunately.
That is unfortunate, but Tyerenex on the right just killed Astos.
Cool. I would put him, what, about 3 minutes behind at this point?
He's probably a little bit behind, yeah. And LordFizzlebeef is going to go to Old Onrak. He's going to see what's there, probably do the Waterfall and its Crescent, so he's going to get 2 key items here.
This is lovely to find here. Pro rings for 18 grand. So that 1 pro ring in Marsh is actually a really nice find if you actually have it. Life 2 at level 6. That was in the 1st slot, and unfortunately, that one also fell out of range of the Red Wizard, so Life 2 is beyond their grasp of the parties that they have. It's not coming up everything's not coming up Red Wizard this time, unfortunately.
I mean, they got fast, which is kind of all you really need. If you need to, the slab from the old men. So we know where Melmon is, which is in the original Melmon.
And we know where Lufane is at, over in Crescent Lake, so that's a quick turn-in.
Yep. At this point, I would assume he's going to do Waterfall, and depending on how spicy he wants to be, he might do Ordeals, or he might do the Fetch Quest at this point. And Tyerenex is only maybe 3-4 minutes behind, depending on encounters. Yeah, and he'd probably do the same searches.
It's still anybody's game at this point. The 3 minutes is nothing with the Tophers that we've seen lately. I would do the Waterfall play, just like LordFizzlebeef is doing right now. I think if it was me before I did Ordeals, though, even though I'm not too far away, I might do the turn-ins first, just so I can pick up a little extra experience from some of the monsters on the water and the other places I'll be going, and maybe see what those key items are, because Ordeals is just spicy enough that I'm not certain I'd want to make that play yet.
With the double warp and so many unrunnables that kind of happened in the early game, I mean, I'd give it a try. Why not? And to answer Nitz's question, Oxiel was for 24k, and that was in Gaia, which is old Provoca.
Level 6 Magic had Lit 2 that I saw, and I think someone was saying Quad X was there as well. Not a whole lot beyond that, and the Life 2, unfortunately, is in the first slot, which means it's out of range of the Red Wizard.
Tyerenex gets his tail, so now he's looking for Airship, and he can do an early promotion, because none of his classes suffer from an early promotion, if he can get away with it.
Yeah,
Gators and Hydras on the left, they have a tendency to hit really hard, but it looks like they are hitting with a wet noodle.
Here's a damp tissue. Take this to the face.
I think that's exactly how that went.
Yeah, no, I would class change as soon as I could because of that tail. There's nothing in these parties to say don't class change. It's just really a matter of you gotta find that floater first. Oof! That was mummies with poison. That is rough. I'm
not gonna lie, I probably would have bailed out of Waterfall right after that. Because he has to go through that trap tile. And there's gonna be whiz mummies and mummies. And that
they
was
were ambushy too.
Yeah. First turn poison with the ribbons, I'd be terrified.
No ribbons, probably gonna ambush you. I mean, maybe give it another sense or two just to see if they're ambushy or not, but you gotta think unless you get the ambush on them, they're gonna strike you with damage poison every time. I agree with you. This is risky and Oh, and unrunnable nightmares. That's lovely.
Yeah, the unrunnable nightmares, they already hit hard.
Yep.
I mean, generally they hit 2, 3, 4 times, and there will almost always the triple digit any of your casters. And sometimes they'll even triple digit your main line.
This is not a nice waterfall. Now, I like the ballsiness of the play. It's a play I'd make because I'm right here. But this one's rougher than I think I'm used to seeing from Waterfall. Thankfully, if he can get past this trap tile, he should be okay, because he has more.
I think he's hoping for
Nope, they're ambush. And he's trying again. I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, with Ordeals so close, though, I would almost be tempted just to go check Ordeals, and then if I absolutely have to, I can go there, or I can do the slab turn-in. And they have Blizzard, so Whiz Mummies have damage poison, and
there he goes.
Mummies have Blizzard. Yeah,
and
he's
honestly,
like,
with the Mummies having Blizzard, that pretty much rules out Ordeals for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good call. And Tyerenex is going to Ordeals. He's not going to check out Old Onrak, which is Crescent, which has the slab. So he's going right into Ordeals. So I think we're going to see both of them at Ordeals at this point.
I mean, I don't know what other plays you have at this point. Maybe if you can get through Ordeals, that's great. If not, I might just go to Volcano and do some, like, armory tracking and do some other stuff there, because at this point I get the feeling carry is just going to be nicer. Yeah, and as Ale, our tracker, says in chat, that waterfall right there was 6 pounds of note in a 2-pound bag.
And yeah, pretty much. Just to kind of, yeah, this seed has not been forgiving at all.
It's been rude. It's been really rude.
The early game, the wolves had the lit 2, spiders had sleep and fire 2, the scums had glare and stun. Then you just saw whiz mummies with damage poison. You had mummies with blizzard, and we have no ribbons available. Tyerenex has finally made it to 2nd level. Actually, he went really quickly through Castle of Ordeals.
Well, that's the benefit of warp, of course.
It is, but I mean,
warp kind of short circuits all of the teleporters and ordeals. It's a lovely spell to have for it.
Yeah, he's gonna go through this. He's gonna get a bunch of chests to check too. Wooden helm, that's not great, but hey, I'll take it for armor, right?
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
armor. Anything that raises your protection right now with how bad this seed has been. The thing is, chat's been saying, oh, there's a Sun Sword. Sun Sword's really nice since he doesn't have anything better to throw at enemies. But yeah, chat's been discussing where they would go and pointing out that the slab is available in their stash, and they can do the trade-in for that at Melmond, and then follow it up in Crescent Lake area for where Lufane is at, and then that immediately points them to Volcano and Ice. That would be my play. That's a nice circuit there to do turn-ins and get some extra levels from Volcano.
And the sorcerers don't look like they're too bad. They have about almost triple-digit health, so they're kind of annoying. And it looks like Lord Fizzlebeef on your left is going to make the slab turn-in. I think he's going to go. He's going to do that.
That's a good play. I can agree with that. I mean, Tyerenex is doing pretty well against him. Now that he has a Sun Sword, he's swinging some decent damage. A lot of the enemies here are starting to actually fall to what he's doing. And that's the Crystal, which means that he can do Crystal and Slab turn in and get a bunch of those things cranked out at once. He is going to test the Zombie D, see how they're going.
Well, they're also unrunnable, so he can't really...
I mean, he had Warp. He could have just warped twice out of the dungeon and been done with it, but...
no, because that would have taken him back to the maze.
2 warps.
Right.
Wouldn't 2 warps take him out completely?
No, that would have taken him to each one of his little divisions of the teleport.
Well, there you go then. So that was the best play. Good job, Tyerenex. Yeah, that teleporter dungeon screws up my head sometimes.
It does. It works. It's really strange the way it works in some cases, and even Ice Cave sometimes can work a little wonky.
Yeah. Chat getting on me for my suggestion. I'm sorry, chat.
And we finally had the sail of the high seas instead of sail over the high seas.
Yeah, we've seen enough flying over those high seas that we were promised a certain type of seed, and we want it now.
And apparently we missed Wraith having fire too, so as it's been pointed out, Ice Cave is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else has Wraiths.
As if we needed Ice Cave to be interesting.
Right.
Can't we just get a nice Ice Cave for once? Come on, game.
No.
So Tyerenex is still mostly following in Fizzlebeef's footsteps. He does have the crystal up over Fizzlebeef that he got in Ordeals. Otherwise, though, he's following similar steps, doing similar things. Presumably, he's gonna, after he's done here with Crescent on rack, he's gonna go check out Waterfall, discover the poison mummies, maybe throw himself at it twice, and then leave.
Pro rings were available. I know he said it, but I didn't realize it was for 18,000.
Yeah, it's a bit much. I've certainly seen them worse. I've seen max price pro rings, which you always hate to see. Still, 18 is a bit much. Until you have like end game money, you don't really want to spend that. And then at that point, it may not be worth it to you to sail that far off to go get pro rings.
All right, so Tyerenex picks up his slab, and Lord Fizzlebeef is going to check out Lufane, which is Old Crescent. We're going to see what the Lufanish people have for us.
Go to the Loopa Loopa party, get their Loopa Loopa item.
Loopa?
Get out your glow sticks, it's a Loopa Loopa party.
So for the question in the chat, turning in the slab for when you learn the language, no. But when you turn in that key item and you talk to the person that Lord Fizzlebeef is going to talk to, Yes, unless it is like a ribbon or a masa. In this case, it is the rod, so it goes towards that 12 count.
And Mazza is not in the item pool right now, so we wouldn't get that from them anyway.
That's correct. But if it was a ribbon, no, it would not go towards the incentivized number. And
Yep.
Tyerenex is going to do waterfall, which makes sense. He's already there. He's going to learn why Fizzlebeef ran away.
You'll learn that there it is. You'll learn that very quickly.
Okay, so that's one attempt in.
Yep. Yeah, and bear in mind that the canal and the bridge that they got for free both count as key items. They come packaged in with the seeds, so they start with them, but they do go towards their key item count, which is part of the reason why it's 12 key items they need to pick up instead of 10, because they already start with 2. So essentially, they just need to pick up 2 key items, and then they're set to roll. There's the damage poison from the wizards, taking out 2 of his characters.
Tyerenex actually got lucky, didn't get ambushed, killed the mummies, but long and behold, guess what happens?
Yeah, and then he gets the lovely unrunnable nightmares, who wallop his fighter. That's try 2. Now we're on to try 3.
And on the left, Lord Fizzlebeef is going to our other incentivized location, Ice Cave, which has a mass majority of enemies, or mass, like, a lot of different enemies. And there's Wraiths, which we know we have Fire 2.
He gets off the Lit 3 charge just to try and see if he can wipe those out. And it seems to be doing some business, that's good. Yeah, the thing about Ice Cave is I hate doing it because, you know, you have all those nasty enemies in there. But the chest density, once you get down to the bottom floors, is really sweet.
This is not good. 8?
No.
Or, I'm sorry, 7 wizards, and even against his fighter, they were hitting for 60. Uh-oh, mummies.
They did chip him once for 3 damage. Oh. See, this is why I wouldn't be here yet. I would go to Volcano and pray that I found, like, an ice armor or an ice shield. You know, something to cut down the amount of damage that they're doing. Because without Life 2, it hurts.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a hunt for the loose item or a very lucky encounter manipulation through either waterfall, which I think might be easier to do, but then you still have to get through that trap tile.
Yeah.
Or hope to get through this, or get to this ice cave.
And he may decide to back out once he finds the spicy raids, because he hasn't actually gotten to see that yet.
Tyerenex on the right, running into it. Yeah, he's got to reset. I'm surprised he's still going in there, considering he knows he has slab.
Yeah, he may be praying that he can get past the encounter at the trapdoor. That maybe it's just going to be heavy on the cockatrices and paralisks, and that he can squeak through and get the item and warp out. Which it's not the worst plan. With how brutal it is, I don't know that I would do this. Oh, and apparently images have Fire 3 as well.
Right,
so all the ghosts are spicy.
I'm thinking these runners will not allow me to roll seeds anymore, because apparently... Yes, that was me.
It's okay. No one wants me to roll seeds either. I think that's just how it works. When you do commentary and you roll a seed, you roll poorly for the players.
I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, it's bad, but at the same time, you know, they could avoid some of this, go to Volcano, search some loose stuff. They might find, you know, a ribbon or 2 ribbons, or, you know, some armor.
I would have been in Volcano 5 minutes ago. I would no. I see the poison from the mummies. I see the Fire 3 from the images. I'm like, you know what? I have better things to do with my time than beat myself against this wall.
Further golf and chat, over under about 2.5 hours. I mean, it all depends. If they get the floater and they can get going, it's going to go really quick. I think 2 hours, probably.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But they just got to get going. These 2 runners are really good, but once they get a little bit of traction, you're going to see them just take off.
Oh yeah, start flying. This is a brutal start to the seed, but it won't stay that way. The thing is, as chat reminds me, and I've seen before, Fizzle doesn't like hitting Volcano early. So this is at least in part him wanting to avoid that and go to his normal paths. And I can respect that. I understand people have their paths they like to take. They don't want to double dip certain dungeons. But it's also that thing of Carrie can be taken out at lower levels, especially if Carrie, as she often does, rolls low on her stats. You don't necessarily have to double dip Volcano with the way that these parties are made up. Go in, do the first couple floors, clear out Armory, maybe go to the next big treasure floor down, clear out Treasury, exit out, go save, and then go just beeline it straight to Carrie and see how bad she is. That would be my plan on this. Because remember, there are 2 loose items out there right now. There's a good chance one of those 2 is in Volcano, and having not found the floater yet, I'd bank on it being the floater right now just to move on with my life.
And keep your eyes out on the left-hand side. LordFizzlebeef is almost there. He makes sure to go slow. All right, he's going to be in and out.
Oh,
floater,
there it is. That's the key. That's the item he wanted. Now he's just going to warp himself out as much as he can.
Yeah, with the 2 red mages, he's like, I cannot hit the warp quick enough.
Yep. Yeah, no, he did that exactly right. He managed to get through. Now that he has that floater, go turn it in and start plotting out your whole thing. You may have to come back to Ice Cave, because it seems to be in these races, Ice Cave tends to get good treasures, although Dragon Armor and Excalibur are already out of the pool. And again, because of the tight chest density, there's a good chance there's a key item down there, which we've seen plenty of times before in this tournament.
And we didn't get the turn in, but Crystal leads to the Ruby.
I mean, we've seen Ruby locked seeds before, but with the amount of stuff still floating out there, I get the feeling that Ruby is a whammy. It's a womp womp.
I mean, for us as spectators, we know that, but as Tyerenex, I think his next play, he'll probably check that, to be completely honest.
Hey, on the previous seed I commentated, Tristel got the Ruby late, and he still turned it in, because you never can tell. And when Tristel is willing to turn in a ribbon, or a Ruby, yeah, so it's a potential wild goose chase, but I kind of feel like sometimes you just gotta follow it, especially if you're over on that side anyway.
And with how the seed's going, it's so hard. Like, you're so afraid. Where are you gonna go? Because I know Ice Cave's gonna be dangerous, and we know Waterfall's dangerous. So you know, a check to Sarda may not be that difficult compared to the other ones.
Well, and that's a fair point to make, is the fact that because we don't have the airship, the only way right now to get to Sarda is that Ruby. So, in that regard, going and feeding our old buddy the Titan, that's not a bad thing to do at all. It might just open progression for you. It wouldn't be in his treasury necessarily, but Sarda could have exactly what you're looking for. And if Sarda has the chime, maybe it's a good time to go see Sky Castle. Which I'm a big fan of. When I get to chime in the cube early, I love going to Sky Castle.
I do too. There's a lot of chess, and it's a lot of good experience generally. Although at the same time, since most of the monsters have higher HP base values, it can be a little annoying.
But the thing is, they have Lit 2 and Lit 3, I believe, in their pool. Those are great spells for Sky.
Yeah, especially if you can get into the second floor, and LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex are almost in the same area. Difference is LordFizzle is flying. Poor Tyerenex is still sailing the high seas, you know, hanging out with all the cool.
The key. Oh. See, that right there, that's an automatic check for me to just go back and hit Elfland and hit Corneria right there and just see what's available. Even Dwarf Cave, too, because it's right there. That's a good chest density. And as he's reminding me, Astos. Just don't go hit the mummy trap tile because they're trapped.
And it was funny is I was looking at chat, and you know this seed is bad when the Wilcliosis says, I would leave Ice Cave even if I knew that the Vorpal was there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to go back to that anytime soon. Maybe eventually if I really needed to find a key item, but I think there are better places to go searching for the loose items right now. Yeah, you don't have TNT yet, Fizzle. Don't worry about that. Crocate, that's nice. Little chunk of change. Soft potion. Money. Heal potion. Money. Ice armor. Silver bracelet.
It's not too bad.
He might have enough for a gold bracelet or a pro ring now. Of the two, I'd take the gold bracelet. And I was going to Corneria. Corneria is not incentivized, but there's usually a good batch of chests, a good batch of treasure here. We've seen plenty of good stuff in the treasury here. Sometimes a key item even, so.
Ooh, Katana.
That's sellable. Although they do both have thieves, don't they?
Yes, they do.
There you go. And the defense sword. See, now that is a great item to find.
That is definitely a worthy item to find.
Yeah.
So LordFizzlebeef is... He hasn't class promoted yet. Kind of surprising, but I understand why. Especially if he's going to be checking all this stuff, he could have, instead of triple dipping the coordinator... Ooh, a ribbon, Aegis, oh my. Knights are loaded.
See, now that right there was lovely. That was a good elf spot right there. If he had dragon armor, he'd basically be one ribbon up, because dragon plus Aegis is more or less a ribbon there. It doesn't protect against everything, but it gets you most of the way.
Tyerenex is checking out what the dwarves have locked in. We know it is ice armor hanging out down there.
Yeah, I think Fizzle just didn't go do his upgrade yet because he was going to go do all the Cardias in one fell swoop. And now that he's here, he can do it all at once and not have to extra dip it or do anything else. It was just en route.
Yeah, the only thing I found is because the spells and stuff like that. I think there was a couple spells that he could have got for his knight or his thief, like the fast and that stuff. He could have got, yeah, he could have just gotten them all at once instead of waiting, or instead of having to double dip or triple dip. But at the same time, that is the nitpicking somebody who's already flying. He's ahead of his opponent.
Some of the people in chat are questioning why certain swords are on the tracker and other ones aren't. I know it's Maza and Vorpal and Katana are all on there, and then I think depending upon who's doing the tracking, sometimes they mark the defense that's on there as the X-Cal instead. Personally, I prefer the defense to be marked over the X-Cal, because while X-Cal is good, Maza and Vorpal are better in most instances, especially against Chaos, and the defense sword is something you always want to know you have.
Yeah, the defense sword is so good. When it casts Ruse, you get the double the evasion that Invis gives. I believe Invis only gives 12. Ruse, the spell Ruse gives you 24.
And a white shirt, so even more evasion at this point.
Yeah, basically he can now cast 4 things of Invis too if he wants. And he's almost going to be Invis capped in one turn, basically with all of his light warriors if he wanted. But it looks like he's going to leave his ninja down though. Yeah,
he would be one shy of is that another ribbon?
I missed it actually. I looked away for a split second at chat.
I mean, whatever the case, the dragons were sitting on a nice pot of armor. And the power gauntlet. Dragons.
Varus,
you treat us right.
Varus 7A points out it was another ribbon, so that's 2. There is an incentivized ribbon, so that could be a loose ribbon.
It could be.
Ice Sword pickup. An Ice Sword pickup, so Tyerenex's Red Wizard will be able to at least attack with something. We also found the...
Washed up, what we were saying is that with the Invis casts plus the Knight, for example, throwing out the defense sword, they'll be one shot shy of being fully capped on all of it, because it's going to take 6 castings of the white shirt or 3 castings of the defense sword otherwise.
And I guess since we're a little in a lull right now, we have LordFizzlebeef making his way down to Old Lefane.
Doing the long walk.
Yeah, we should probably give a little recap. What you think?
Go for it.
Alright, well, the beginning, let's just say, has been an interesting one. The Garland went down pretty easily, since we had lit 2 spells. The King, it gave us the herb. Sarah gave us the cube. The herb led to the bottle, which led to the tail. Marsh Cave, which has been basically a gatekeeper for our people. We had spiders with sleep, Fire 2, Scums with Glare, Wizards hitting hard. It was a tough battle for all of our racers. Marsh had the Crown, which led to the ship, which opened up the high seas. The shop item was the Oxiel, but that was 24,000 gold. The Sages had the Slab, which led to the Rod. as you just seen on Tyerenex's side. Ordeals, which was a little hard to, actually it was actually pretty easy, led to the Crystal, which led to the Ruby, and if you felt nice enough, you could have fed it to the Titan. The Fane was the Rod, obviously. Ice Cave, which had the vanilla floater, but the problem was you had to go through Wraiths and Mummies.
And Images.
And, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Wraiths and Images, and 7 up to 9 Wizard packs, which were not fun.
Sorry to interrupt for just a second, but we have Nuke and Ice 3 both at level 3 Black Magic, and we're checking the White Magic right now. This is not a whole heck of a lot.
And the last one we know of so far is Sarda had the key and Cure 4 in White Magic, and that's learnable by Red Wizards and Knights.
Yeah, Cure 4 in level 4 White Magic, whereas Wall apparently was over in the level 3 White Magic.
I mean, getting Cure 4 at level 4, very nice for the Knight. You know, not bad for the Red Wizard. He doesn't get as many charges as we would like, but they're pretty.
But Cure 4 is Cure 4. You're never going to be sad about seeing that in the spot. You can learn it.
We still haven't found Temper yet, but we do have the Power Bonk, so that kind of offsets it, so you probably won't see many people too upset about not having Temper. Fast was level 1, so that helps out immensely. Excalibur was found. Lord Fizzlebeef actually sold the Dragon Armor and kept the Excalibur. Tyerenex, I believe, kept both of them.
And it's not like I can't understand either of their plays. Lord Fizzlebeef wanted the money, and he put it to good use buying up saving items so he could get around. Tyerenex prioritized his late game items instead. He did suffer a little bit struggling to get through and getting to a save point after clearing out Marsh Cave, but he managed to make it work, so in the end, when it comes to armor, I'd kind of put the edge slightly towards Tyerenex, but not enough to the point that I think it's going to matter in the long run.
Tyerenex is in Volcano. Red Gargoyles hitting 4 hits, not a whole lot of damage, but they had Poison Touch.
Yeah, I'm not even certain Tyerenex actually tried Ice Cave. He may have just been like, this has been awful, I know what the mummies have, let's go do Volcano and see how bad that is.
I think that's exactly what he did.
I can't blame him. That would have totally been my play. Quizzle, of course, is following in his footsteps now and going over to Ordeals to clear this out. He's gonna get that crystal, and then for him, the trash ruby that he just doesn't need.
A Tiny Fairy pointing out in chat, Knight only has access to 1 and 3. Yep, spell levels 1 and 3, and they're all a little bit different.
Yeah, the second slot on Knight is locked, and then at level 1, and the second and fourth slots on Knight are locked at level 3. He can learn everything at level 2, though. And that's primarily because the Knight, like the Red Mage and the Red Wizard, is unable to learn spells like Harm, Harm 2, and Heal.
So Lord Fizzlebeef is checking out Ordeals. He's going to find out that it's not that difficult. Ordeals leads to the Crystal, which leads to the Ruby, so it's kind of a waste of time for him. He doesn't know that, obviously.
Well, and it does at least get him 2 up on his key items, which, looking at it right now, because we know he hasn't bought Oxiel yet, but he has done 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at 10 or so right now, so this should put him at 12.
And to go along with that, I just want to announce to everybody, the Game Changer has been found. In the hairpin turn in Volcano. That's right. The Game Changer is out. Get your Vorpals out, everybody. Once Tyerenex has been promoted, he is going to speed through this real quickly, all because of...
Oh, Moist Mogwai in chat was already on it before you could even ask for the Vorpals. She had a full collection out there.
Well, remember, she graduated me from the Duckling program, so we have the connection where she understands what I'm about to say.
You get a Vorpal, and you get a Vorpal, everybody gets a Vorpal.
Ooh, loose loot. Although it is in the armory of the Volcano, so it's not nearly as detrimental to Lord Fizzlebeef, because he'll probably check it more than likely.
Well,
but
and then
it's
he'll
always
get
nice.
his opal armor at that point, because I just saw that in the treasury. So, more than likely, he's not going to suffer from losing his dragon armor. He won't have all the special protection buffs that the dragon armor gives you, but he'll still get lit protection and the full armor protection of the opal. That's comparable to the dragon armor in that respect. The absorb and all that.
And a Masamune picked up for Tyerenex. Okay.
Volcano's loaded.
So
this volcano apparently presented to you by one of those popular knife companies like Cutco or something.
I mean, I think for Tyerenex there, as we see in LordFizzlebeef about to take on the unrunnable zombie D's, but he has nuke. For Tyerenex, I think I would have hoped for loot to be where that hairpin was. You know, somewhere where somebody might not check.
Yeah.
Since he's checked it, just to give him a chance to catch up later on, if for some reason LordFizzlebeef does not check that spot.
Yeah, well, and the thing is to think about is Treasury is a greed spot. If you're coming through and you're searching for anything, it's an automatic stop off just to go to the Treasury right there, because the chest density is so high. Also worth pointing out at this point is, if he's followed the path that Fizzlebeef has for checking the various treasure spots, he should at this point have a full rare sword collection. Vorpal and Katana, Masamune, and the Excalibur at this point.
Yeah, and as Tarnan points out, he does have to go there to check it. I fully understand it, but the whole point is, if it's in a location where he's not going to check it, this gives Tyerenex an opportunity to play catch-up, because he still doesn't have the floater, and he's got to battle through all these encounters to get to the places he needs to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, think about it this way. There are certain chests that you know everyone's going to check no matter what when they're searching for key items, and there are other chests that are potential skips. And the hairpin chests, for example, are one of those that we've seen in the past. Tristle, for example, will skip, and Tristle's a fantastic player. You kind of hope that some of the things that you want that are really good are going to be over in those kind of hairpin out-of-the-way areas, just so that the player playing against you doesn't get them immediately. Maybe forgets to check it, maybe spends a little time not doing what they should be doing.
And Tyerenex on the left-hand side just throwing money around. Quad X's for 10,000. Here, take my money. The pro rings for 18,000. Here, take my money some more. I'm loaded.
Yeah, Fizzle had the cash. He decided he was going to spend it. And now armed with better armor and protection rings, he's going to go try the waterfall again.
Yeah, he's got at least 2 ribbons, I believe. So
2 ribbons, various death protections from that protect ring, and bear in mind, Pro Ring also has 8 absorb a cost, so that's a little extra armor there for your weaker guys that may only have like a silver bracelet or something on them.
Now, to also point out though, just because he has a ribbon which gives you resistances to all elemental damage, Tyerenex is taking some Agamas right now. Damage poison still hits really hard, and Blizzard still hits really hard. So with these lower levels, if all of those Wiz Mummies and Mummies go first, or a good majority of them, they only have to hit an average of 60 damage, or 80 damage or something like that, and you're gonna die real quick with those red wizards.
The way to look at it this way is half of a lot is still plenty. But he's in a better position now than he was when he came here the first time. With better armoring, better protection. I mean, you can still get destroyed through a ribbon if you get unlucky. And you can still have touch effects screw up your game, because the protect ring and the ribbons don't stop touch effects. But just having the higher MDef of being a few levels better than he was before, this is going to help him out immensely.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But in the back of my mind, just because of how the seed was going, I would be holding my breath still as soon as I ran into these guys, right?
Yeah, this is not the version of this pack you want to see at all. He gets the nuke off, and that takes out those nasty poison whiz mummies. And it looks like all the other mummies are going to fall by the wayside as well. He is through this with all of his people still standing.
Yeah, that was no ambush. He got the good turn 2, and the guy that was going next survived, so he was able to. And the robot has adamant.
Yeah, fetch quest. That's lovely. But that was one of those clinch and fray kind of maneuvers right there.
And Volcanic joins in. Grind this tile, Whip.
They seemed perfectly fine. Why wouldn't you go back and fight them a few more times?
Right? I mean, come on.
The experience was great. What's your problem?
and we got a Tyerenex facing carry on the right. He's got the Wizard Staff start, and Viz 2, and he's going to attack with his fighter. I kind of like this, you know. He's just going to go for the orbs.
Yeah, I mean, you're here, and if you really don't want to double dip and you want to just earn the experience, this is the way to go. He's got Invises. He should have White Shirt because he followed the Treasury path that... No, he wouldn't have White Shirt because that was over in the Dragons, but he does have the Invises. That'll buff you up enough for a boss like this who's still at the Tier 1 level. I mean, this is the play I would make. I said it earlier. I think this is a good play. Oh, and he got the Wizard Staff to use carry, so this shouldn't be a problem at all at this point.
And Mirage is now open. Adamant led to Chime. And on the right, Tyerenex has already done about 800 damage at a carry.
Yeah, she can't have much longer right now.
Another swing. 4 hits, 255. Oh, okay, this carry's got some HP on it. Making it interesting. Hasn't really done much, though.
Well, and she's confused right now, so I'm not sure she can do much anyway.
Oh, please, carry. Hit yourself.
I know. Finish yourself off. That's what we want to see.
Oh, the lit 3 ruins the dream.
But that at 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 57 seconds, Tyerenex is the first on the board with the Fire Orb lit. Good job, Tyerenex.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the floater, but I think he's going to go there now. I think he's going Ice Cave, unless he's low on healing potions and camping equipment. Oxial's been bought from LordFizzlebeef. He's definitely at his 12 key items, for sure.
Yeah, well, as they're mentioning in chat, they're surprised about the fact that it's an hour in and we're finally getting our first orb lit. That's what happens with Sail to High Seas. Very often, it takes a while to ramp up. And the whole reason why Fizzle hasn't done it is because he's doing what a lot of us would do. Now that he's finally in the air and moving, he's going and he's taking care of all the key item spots first so he can just go mode as many dungeons as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of resets. If for anybody new, the beginning was really rough. The wolves in the beginning had Lit 2, which basically kills your light warriors as soon as it's casted, because they just don't have the HP. The spiders had sleep, so they could sleep your entire party, and then the next turn they'd cast a Fire 2 and wipe you out, and they're everywhere in the early game.
They were.
The scum in Marsh had the glare, and then and then they'd also paralyze you too. Wizards hit hard, which Tyerenex is about to find out. Well, okay, he's actually got some decent armor on his fighter finally.
And then, as we saw later, the Wiz Mummies had damage poison, the Mummies had Blizzard, and then the Images and the Spectres both had like Fire 2 and Fire 3, and those are prevalent in the Ice Cave. It's been brutal for them as far as the damage they've had to take from spells.
Yeah.
Now, Chad is discussing where Fizzlebeef is going to go next. Obviously, he needs to go do Volcano, because Volcano is going to put him in Go mode. He's one item short at this point of Go, because he's got everything he needs, basically, to... Does he have Oxiel? He bought Oxiel, didn't he?
Yes, he bought Oxiel. He just needs the loot at this point, I believe.
Yeah, and we know that's in Volcano, so he's literally one item from Go. The second he goes to Volcano and hits that treasury, he's got everything he needs. He'll probably finish out the treasury, because why wouldn't you? And then at that point, he can just go everything, because he's going to have all the treasure he ever wanted. But he's going to Earth Cave.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, because he's not checking any chests here, so I think he's just go-moding, in a way. He's going to bypass all of Earth, he's going to kill Lich.
He might be based on greed chests.
Yeah, exactly.
The he needs is in one of the greed areas. And Earth Basement 4 is a good green area. Oh, we had a slight issue here on our layout.
And Tyerenex on the right, if you were paying attention, he actually got the floater, and he's going down underneath, and he's gonna full clear out Ice Cave right now.
It looks like. Now, it does look like the layout has changed for us, and I see AliGerbrap and MeleeWizard queued up at the bottom. Knowing that we're already over an hour in, I don't know if we're actually planning on starting up the second ones. I would be surprised if we did, but, I mean, if they do start them up, we're here for it, and we already kind of know where things are going.
And Griggly points out he's very surprised by LordFizzlebeef going into Earth right away. I'm surprised by it. I did a little pre-interview thing, and he said he wasn't going to do anything out of the ordinary on his routing. And, well, he must think because of the way the seed's been going, he's got to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a bold choice. I mean, knowing as we do that they're all basically in... He should be in go mode at this point. The only thing he may have to do is buy the Oxyale. But he should basically be in go mode at this point. It's surprising that he wants to check everything, because we know most of the good treasure is already in his collection. So...
He doesn't have the cube yet. Wait. Yeah, no, he's got cube. I'm sorry. Chime, because he hasn't done the robot yet.
Oh, you're right.
Robot to adamant to chime. So he still needs to do that. So I think he's since he doesn't know that Cardi Isles has a ribbon, he doesn't know that one of those could be the incentivized the ribbon loose. Or there's a good chance that that's what it could be.
Possible.
And poor dead ninja over on LordFizzlebeef is, well, dead. Living up to his name.
And it does look like we're going to try and get a refresh on AliGerbrap and MeleeWizard at this point. So that we can find out where they're at with their races and continue this with all four of them playing at once. So, you know, just the joys of getting all this set up quickly, but we'll have it all going soon. No worries, everyone. So yeah, I kind of think at this point that since his ninja has been down for a while, I think Fizzle might just be doing 3-man strats to get the extra experience on the characters that matter.
I could definitely see that, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're playing catch-up on MeleeWizard's side here.
I'm hearing that at least one of the two of the racers right now is working on lighting their third orb on the bottom. So... well, I think we're getting a fast forward right now of their entire seed. But Falconic in chat was letting us know one of the two of them's already on their third orb.
So for the people, yeah, for the spectators watching, the ones up top, LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex are 1-1. They are battling against each other. The ones on the bottom, AliGerbrap and MeleeWizard, are battling it out in their little 1v1 also.
They're in the 0-2 division. So there's a lot on the line for one of the two of them, because falling that far down, it's not going to necessarily put you out of the competition, but you don't want to fall down that far down in the tournament. One of the two of them is going to be 0-3 after this, and that hurts. So yeah, as Moist Mogwai is pointing out in chat, ignore what's going on at the bottom right now. They're working on getting things synced up while the top side still plays out. So just let that go and pay attention to the top now.
Tyerenex is about to fly in about 1 minute, 12 and a half, probably. He's got to get through these annoying giants. So he's going to start going. He's already got one orb lit, which was the carry, the fire fiend. So I assume he's probably going to do Cardi Isles and class promote. That's probably what I would do, and then maybe get some spells for my characters. Of course, I say that, and did he never do the bottle tournament? Oh, no, I guess he never did the bottle tournament. Oh no, he's buying Oxio. Okay.
Well, I don't think he's... Apparently he has. Okay. Yeah, for the most part, FizzleBeef go-moded this dungeon. So while he did stop to pick up a couple greed chests along the way, I think he's fully banking on the idea that the key items he needs are going to be in greed areas, because there's plenty of chests to find in the greed areas, and it's not a bad call when you're down to just one item that you need, and no worries otherwise.
Agreed. And it looks like on the left, we have our first look at Lich, took 234 damage, survived, nuke for 304, the little speed bump that is Lich is down.
Yeah, the Lich always seems so terrifying when you hit him in the vanilla game, but the randomizer basically makes him little more than a glorified imp.
So Tyerenex picks up his power bonk, picks up his second ribbon. He might look towards Waterfall now after class promotion, which will put him in go mode because he knows where everything else is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Masa, which puts him in an even better position.
It's worth noting that at the 1 hour, 13 minute mark, FizzleBeef got on the board with his first crystal.
Yep, he killed the little speed bump that couldn't
A little speed
stop
bump
the
that
light
could.
warrior. Yeah, basically.
The undead imp that didn't.
Yeah. So Tyerenex is gonna class promote. I don't know where Lord FizzleBeef's going. He's going back. Oh, okay. He's gonna go check the top floor of Earth since he didn't check that. He didn't check those. He bypassed them. He's worried about that one loose item that he's looking for, which is the loot.
Volcano.
Right. Yep. The loot is in Volcano Armory, so he just needs to go there, and he'll be in go mode. Tyerenex just needs to go Waterfall and do the robot into adamant in a chime, and he will be in go mode.
Yep. And they are both at this point over their 12 key item minimum, so they're both getting their bonus 150% experience now.
Fizzle is putting the Masa on his red mage, or I'm sorry, the Tyerenex is putting Masa on his red mage, Excalibur on his knight with the defense sword. I kind of like it, kind of hate it at the same time, since with a nuke available, actually he doesn't know about nuke yet. I don't think he's been there yet. Once he learns about nuke, I would think he would just go nuke casting with his red wizards and just, put the Masa.
It's a good call. I mean, we know that Volcano is fully loaded with all the great swords there, and as soon as you get that, you don't even have to worry about anything else. You've got a full collection for all the warriors that you have in your party. You can show off those fancy swords you'd otherwise mount on the wall and be happy with everything you can do. Not that, honestly, you're gonna do much with the swords on your red mage and your ninja, because with nuke and all the other great spells they have, why would you have them attack?
Exactly, and it looks like Lord FizzleBeef is going to go to Volcano. He's going to check Armory. Yeah, he's going to be in go mode. Tyerenex is going down to where the Fane is, which is Elflin, and he's going to get
nuke and there's a couple of other really nice spells over in that area that he'll get and be very happy about.
The only thing helping Tyerenex right now is the fact that Lord FizzleBeef did not bypass these two chests, which normally get kind of bypassed at the start. So it's going to eat up a couple minutes of time.
It's surprising he didn't, considering how many of the Earth chests he go-moded, despite being, along the way. Okay, looks like we're almost caught up on AliGerbrap. We're just waiting for them to sync up timer-wise.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he went that way too, because, after you beat Carrie, you can just warp out with his portal and go check it out. Looks like AliGerbrap is going to take on Lich in the bottom left.
And I think because they were already 3 orbs up from what we were seeing on their tracker before, this will... Oh, lizard mummies. There you go, get away from this. This should put them at 4, and they will be ready to roll, and heading off towards Topher as long as they have all the equipment and gear they need.
Okay, well, hopefully he will give us an indication of that. Now remember, AliGerbrap is taking on MeleeWizard. He is not actually racing against LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex.
Yep. The tops are against each other and the bottoms are against each other. They're playing on the same seed, but they're not all four playing against each other. And Galley is just flying. I kind of wish we'd managed to see their early game to see how they did this, because they are easily 20 minutes up on everyone else.
The go mode is done for LordFizzlebeef. He is probably not going to stop. He's just going to go, 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 go. And you know what's funny is he warped out and he didn't pick up the masa.
Yeah, he didn't. He got it. He got his one treasure and left. And I mean, I can understand that. I can see, oh, I'm in go mode. I got as good a gear as I need. Let's just do this. I think I still probably would have explored out the treasury though, but he's a faster player than I am, so I can understand what he's doing.
Hey, I don't hate it. I completely understand it.
I mean, as far as I know, I think he's on Team Vorpal. He has the Vorpal. He may just feel like he even needs the Masamune. No reason to even search for it.
That's true. Who needs Masa when you have the Vorpal? And Tyerenex is going to go down to Onrak. Might go Sea Shrine.
And it looks like MeleeWizard is all caught up as well. I think from what we see on the timer, they are. They are, unfortunately, from the looks of it, about 15 or so levels behind, and they're still struggling in Waterfall, which, honestly, this Waterfall's wretchedly bad.
So in the bottom left, AliGerbrap has all orbs lit.
Mm-hmm.
He is loaded money-wise. He's just buying stuff, getting himself set. He's level 21 on his characters, it looks like.
With a full complement of spells from what I was seeing.
Carrie has Stone Touch.
Oh, wait, we didn't even see that the previous time. But she Stone Touched the ninja, so I don't think he cares that much.
I would rather have it stoned rather than dead, because it makes it a lot easier to bring back if I need them.
Absolutely. Carry it like that through the first couple floors of Topher, and then bring that ninja back for the Master of Arms on Seafloor.
And it's true, Nuke was level, 4? So Nuke Ninja learnable.
Yep.
And AliGerbrap is in Temple of Fiends Revisited. It was about 1:19. 1 hour, 19 minutes, so he is blazing right now.
This is Tristal pace. It's amazing.
I mean, this is almost Challenge Seed, and, you know, he's run like a crab cakes right now.
They had something to prove, they came in to do it.
They said 0-2 what? But bring it on.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was like, I'm not going 0-3. I don't care what you have to say about it. I'm not doing 0-3. Yeah, chat is commenting that Ali's gonna come in here and be like, I didn't see any problems with seed. This seed was easy.
We're going to test his light warriors for the performance-enhancing drugs.
They're caught for oxygen doping.
I mean, it must be.
Oh, that's amazing. I like it. Yeah, as C-Note notes in chat, they're oxy-ale doping. Very nicely done there.
Oh, puns, how much we love them.
But yeah, we can see that Fizzle is already cruising through, and he's not bothering to check anything, not even like greed chests at this point. Whereas Tyerenex is still checking a few of the greeds. Does get rewarded with the opal armor or opal shield for his trouble. That's never bad to see.
Now, in the bottom right, MeleeWizard, I can see why he's having a little bit more of a hard time. You got Thief, Black Belt, Red Mage, White Mage.
As far as I know, from what I understand, Melee really likes that Black Belt. But this is the kind of seed where that Black Belt's really going to struggle in the early game, because everything seems to have a lot of nasty spells to cast, and the M-Def for the Black Belt does not kick in until later.
And Fade wasn't available. The White Mage basically doesn't do much, as much as I know of, right?
Yeah. No, White Mage can get life too. I think we saw that in the White Mage spot, and that was about it. But we haven't seen Fade. We've seen some harms. I think Harm 4 was available at one of the levels, which would help against the mummies and the wraiths to a point, but considering the fact that they're all busting out really high-level magic very early, that's only going to help you so much.
We got our first Fiend in Temple of Fiends Revisit, Lich 2. Dies in probably 1, maybe 2 turns. I missed the start of it, but it didn't look like he did very much.
Like he was about as speed bumpy here as he normally is.
Tyerenex is checking an abnormally amount of chests. He must have forgotten that he didn't do Waterfall.
Yeah, he may not have realized that he's in go mode.
Oh, never mind. Maybe he is skipping. He did skip those. I'm sorry. I thought he was in Sea Shrine a lot sooner. He just seemed to be taking a little while. In the top left, Fizzle's about to take Kraken 1. Bottom left, Ali's about to take on Carry 2, which is their first kind of
potential door stopper.
Yeah. And Kraken 2
on
goes...
the flip side, Kraken 1 was nothing. I looked up, there was a single nuke cast, and then Kraken was gone.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it did. And Carry 2 had no health either. Maybe 300?
Yeah. That was just lovely to see. If you notice the positioning of where Kraken was right there, it was basically bounced from Gaia on down to Sky Temple, and like the two themes are back to back right next to each other. This is about as good a positioning as you can get for this late in the game.
Oh, and apparently Images had Fire 3, so
yep.
Wraiths had stuff.
Yeah,
Images
it was
had Fire 3.
The Ice Cave mix.
Nice.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, game.
But Tyerenex is still... He went all the way around in the Sharknado floor. He's still checking chests.
Gotta remember that those Wiz Mummy packs are here in Sky Temple as well, and they are just not letting up. More fun with damage poison. I mean, he's deep enough in the dungeon right now, I can see why he's trying to play this out, but I almost feel like maybe just take the reset, because you're two heroes down and you've got 5 or 6 floors of decent length that you still have to dig through.
So MeleeWizard gets his floater. He's going to be flying here shortly. AliGerbrap is in the sea floor of Temple of Fiends Revisited. He's just trying to make it through all this seafood stuff. LordFizzlebeef is our closest one to Ali. Just needs to kill Tiamat, and he'll be in Temple of Fiends Revisited also. Tyerenex has to go to Waterfall to get the Adamant, which leads to Chime, and he'll be in go mode.
Now, since we're basically right near the end of the game, I'm just going to give one more very brief recap for everyone so that they know what it took to get to this point and how Ali got so far ahead just by following the clues and playing it out the best that they could. Provoca was Gaia, Elflin was Provoca, Melmond was Melmond, no one wanted to live there, so Melmond was stuck there. Crescent Lake was Lefen, Onrak was Crescent Lake, Gaia was Onrak, and Lefen was Elflin. The Marsh Cave had the crown, which led to the ship. Ice Cave had a vanilla floater. Ordeals led to the crystal, which led to the ruby, which led to Sarda, and was one way to get the key. Titan himself wasn't even bothered to check, no one cared what was in his treasury. The item shop had the Gaia Oxyel for 24,000. King had the herb, which led to the bottle, which led to the tail, and as you can see, basically everyone except for MeleeWizard has class changed, and MeleeWizard, of course, has not, because they have a black belt. Okay, back to where I was. Princess had the cube, Bicky had the canoe, he was the river pirate this time. Robot had the adamant, which led to the chime, so the armorsmith in the dwarf cave was making instruments this time around. Sarda, as I noted, had the key, and there was a lot of great treasure in the various treasuries littered with that key. Sage had the slab, which led to the rod. We had one loose item, loot in Volcano Armory, and unless we found a loose ribbon, that was one of our key items. We don't know where that loose TNT was, which we're assuming was the key item. And then there was a bunch of really great treasure, like excals and defenses and ribbons that were scattered everywhere. It was a very treasure-rich seed this time around.
So Krakatu didn't really do a whole lot against Ali. He attacked, did about 500, 2 nukes. Next round, paralyzed Krakatu, and then meleeed it to death.
Lovely.
So
I mean, when you can do it, that's fantastic to see.
Zap
and
comes
he's going full-out damage right now against Tiamat, looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like high absorb for Tiamat, though. 10 hits for only barely 300. Another swing by Masa, 10 hits, 700. Finally got some crits, able to break through that armor. Fizzle is taking on Tiamat 1. The defense is up, gonna cast some nukes, looks like. Tia also hits with a wet noodle against his knight for 1 damage.
The ever-famous damp cocktail napkin. This one shouldn't be too bad. Tia 2 looked like they had a decent amount of health, but Tia 1 doesn't seem all that difficult at all.
Brack strats, up, there we go.
Yeah, and Tia especially isn't dangerous when you decide to brack them, so...
Well, when your knight decides only going to hit for, 43 damage, I mean, I think I would resort to Brack strats too.
MeleeWizard unfortunately got smacked on the river, was down to just their sad little white mage, and then... Oh, I can see why. The white mage is the only surviving party member, and I'm not certain they have healing or saving items.
Ooh,
it's a rough place to be in.
I mean, we've seen LordFizzlebeef made the journey out of Marsh and made that journey all the way... No, I'm sorry, that was Tyerenex, yeah. He made that journey all...
We're up to chaos.
2-man strats for AliGerbrap now.
It's been working so far here.
Reorganizes, put his knight in the 3rd position. He's hoping to get max evade, maybe get chaos into an attacking loop if possible.
Just really hoping that he doesn't have any spells that are going to cause any problems. Defense comes out, fast comes out, get that knight buffed up. Chaos hits like a truck, though. That was a huge hit. They get taking out most of the Red Mage's health, but they cure 4 back up. Power Gauntlet comes out. 73 on the knight, that's nothing. That's chip damage right there. Another white shirt buff coming out. Power Gauntlet. Chaos trying for that red mage again. Red mage is still standing, not even on his knees. White shirt blasts out. Buffing up another round, another cure 4, keep him alive as long as you can. Suffer those damages while the knight power gauntlets another time. Chaos keeps trying for that red mage. Red mage keeps saying no, no, no. Power gauntlet comes out. Chaos finally takes out that red mage. But I think the knight is basically at this point fully buffed, and an ink is a free turn. Chaos tries, Chaos misses. Mazda comes out 3 hits for 664. This won't take long. 8 hits for over 1100 damage. Blaze isn't even going to touch him. Another ink spell. 8 ink casting. 7 hits for 8 something from looks of it. Ink again. Chaos for 3 hits and 689. And AliGerbrap is down at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 31 seconds. Chaos was very inky this time around.
Yeah, Chaos didn't want to cast a whole lot of spells. Just kept wanting to dark them for some reason, and dark really doesn't do much.
Yeah, he saw what Kraken normally did, and he's like, I could be an octopus too, and just kept spitting out that ink. But GG's to AliGerbrap, first finisher of all of these races. Now, the LordFizzlebeef versus Tyerenex match is still ongoing. They are separate from the AliGerbrap MeleeWizard battle. But this does put MeleeWizard at 0-3 up against AliGerbrap, who's now 1-2. Math. Trying to do math on Twitch. That's a bad idea.
It wasn't too bad.
Well, we do see that LordFizzlebeef is now in the earth floor of Topher, and despite having seen the Germaduces be terrible before, they weren't nothing this time around.
And the first little speed bump, Lich 2. He just has some HP. Ooh, slow 2. Nuke's gonna come out. Probably gonna die if he gets a high roll. Yep. a decently high roll. Lich 2's down. Tyerenex finally makes it through the waterfall, the gatekeeping wizard and whiz mummies, gets the adamant. He'll exit out, and that'll turn into Chime, which opens up Mirage.
Ali, you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Hello.
GG's.
Honestly, I'm surprised that I finished first with all those great credits. I guess skipping Marsh helped me a lot.
You
I was gonna
blasted
say-
through this seed. It was impressive.
I was gonna say, did you bypass, or you must have went to Elfland, grabbed the canoe, and then you must have went either to Volcano or Ice right off the bat.
Yeah, I went Volcano first. I found, I think, the Massa Moon, and I don't remember what else. The loot.
Yep.
So after that, I get the ball to see. Get the ball to see its the tail, and after that, I go to Ice Cave, check only the 3 chests because I know images have Fire Tree, and I didn't want to go down. So I saw Floater. Okay, I'm warping out and not checking anything else.
Yeah, you essentially followed the path the seed laid out for you, and this particular time around, it seemed like the way the seed wanted you to go was the best way to go.
Yeah, I didn't know which place was the best for this seed, but like I felt okay. Just hoping that I went to the right places, and I don't know. Mars must have had the ship, right? So it would have been a really red herring.
Eventually, yeah. I think Marsh had ground, which eventually led to ship.
Yep, crown to ship. But the problem was the scums there had Glance, which kept killing everybody.
Glare.
And then you'd run into Glare, I'm sorry. And then you also had Wraiths with Fire 2, I believe it was, and Blizzard, and
Sleepy
you had
spiders.
Sleepy Spider. I mean, everything imaginable there was just...
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So that explains part of the reason why you were at least 20 minutes up over anyone else. You just didn't see any of it.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was that was really dangerous was mummies and whiz mummies. Mummies had Blizzard and whiz mummies started with poison, so it was not fun. I think
Yeah.
I wiped probably 3 times in Waterfall.
Yeah. Well, it seemed to work out in your favor. Was there anything about this scene that you liked or hated? What were your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I wish I had checked I found Elfland earlier just to know where Nuke was. Like my told for like a couple of things was I was hoping to like get nukes, and like Kraken had no absorb, and a lot of things didn't weren't scary. Chaos, I only saw Blaze from Chaos, and I had decent gear. That was like the fun thing, and like also finding the TNT in Sky, Mirage earlier, and I'm like, oh, well, it's either going to lead to the ship or the second ribbon, and I was like, okay, let's go mode this. We have probably a second ribbon, and if not, it's in Marsh, and I can just check Marsh quickly.
Yeah. We mostly only got to see FizzleBeef and Tyerenex for the first, I'd say, hour and 5 minutes. So we didn't know where TNT was because neither of them found it.
Yeah, it was like in I was trying to like get some green chest because I didn't like my defensive gear. Offensively, you got everything you wanted. I had the 2 katanas, I had the defense sword, I had the sun sword, Massa, Excalibur. So it was it was really good if you wanted weapons.
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second because Fizzle is up against Chaos right now. I want to give him our full attention here, since he's the first of the 2 runners up top to actually make it that way. He's checking his armor, he's getting everything ready, being prepped for this battle. He's got 3 of his 4 up because we know the ninja is worthless. He's getting his buffs out, getting his stuff ready. Ice 2, or Invis 2 comes out, buffs the party. Comes out with a defense sword on top of that, and then a fast for the Knight as well. Knight's halfway towards his full complement of defense. Chaos blasts the Knight, Red Mage up top, takes out a good portion of his health. Another Invis 2 cast, doesn't care about that Red Mage one bit. Power Gauntlet comes out, another Invis 2. Knight is 5 of the 6 charges away from being fully defended, and you can see Chaos is already missing when he tries to attack. Power Gauntlet, Invis 2, Red Mage Cure 4s, get himself back up. Ink comes out, Ink's a worthless spell, that's gonna do nothing. All the Invises, his party is completely defended as far as that Knight is concerned, and he's the important one. Nuke charge, Lit 3, full attack, 2 hits, 486 damage. Lit 3 comes out for another 49 chip. Chaos Blast the bottom mage. Nuke comes out, 103 damage there. We know that this Chaos is somewhat beefy, having close to probably 2,000. Blaze comes out. Another round of chip damage. Cure 4 on there. Night Blast out for 505 damage. Looks like he's wielding the Excalibur. 6 hits. Nuke then comes out for another good blast of damage. Lit 3 round. 53 damage. Knight hits another round. 4 hits. I even missed how much that was. Looked like it was 800 something. And then a round of the heal 3 to keep everything up. Chaos tries to take out that fighter. Fighter's having nothing of it. And looks like we're getting some Brack strats. 3 hits for 143. Brack comes out. That's ineffective. Lit 3 as well on top of that. 50 damage. Chipping away. Gonna get Chaos down sooner or later since Chaos isn't able to hit most of these guys. We got the fighter. 3 hits for 335, I believe. It's a little hard to see here. Brack doesn't do anything. Lit comes out another 60 damage on top of that. Chaos misses once more. 6 hits, 577. Chaos misses. Lit 2 comes out. 28 damage. Another Lit 2 comes out. 30 damage. Gotta be close to soon, Chaos. You can't have much more on your feet. Chaos misses again. Chaos doesn't know what. He's reeling. 2 hits, 142 damage. Lit comes out. 23 damage. Lit 2 comes out. 28 damage, I believe. Still trying to blast this out. Lit 2 comes out. 25 damage. A fighter comes out swinging. 3 hits, 350, and that's all she wrote. Chaos is down. LordFizzlebeef finishes out 1 hour, 39 minutes, 7 seconds. Good job, LordFizzlebeef. I already see that Tyerenex has forfeited. MeleeWizard, however, is still going strong. I'm gonna try and get these guys in for interviews. 1 second.
I mean, it definitely helped for LordFizzlebeef. I mean, you can definitely tell the difference. Ali was rocking the Masa, I believe, and was getting a lot higher damage out of it compared to the Excalibur. It was having a lot of trouble hitting.
Yeah, it's that thing. The Excalibur is great up to a point, but when you're up against the last couple bosses, Tiamat and Chaos, especially Chaos, who doesn't really have any weaknesses, the benefit of the Excalibur with its ability to attack the weaknesses is generally muted.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good thing Chaos didn't want to cast any spells. Looks like he just wanted to cast his skills, so that made it easy. Ink's not, like you said, not going to do much. And he could just sit there and Chaos would attack, but he already had max evade, so it's not like he had to worry too much about anything. But, I mean, Ali, I wish I would have been able to watch the way you did it, because you killed it this seed, you know?
Yeah, if you have a stream up that we can go watch later, I'm definitely going to have to go and check that out. And it looks like we are joined in the room as well by LordFizzlebeef now. GG, Fizzle.
Thank you.
That was hard fought. Well done.
That was nerve-wracking start to finish.
So we were talking with AliGerbrap a little bit ago. You went for Marsh Cave early. Are you regretting that decision now?
Based on what I saw in Elfland Town, yes, 100% yes. I mean, I'd make the same play again, but like, it's real sad to see Warp was available for a dungeon that I just could not get out of.
Yeah, Ali was telling us that they skipped Marsh completely, just went over to Elf, saw the spells, saw the canoe, and then traveled onwards towards Volcano, and just never looked back.
Oh wow, yep, that checks out.
It explains why they had such an easy time going through. Were there things that you probably would have wanted to do differently?
Looking back, there was so much that just tripped me up. I just kept running into brick walls from place to place. That was really my issue. I gambled on Herb being something that would have been nice to have later, and that was true, but Provoca was also right there, so that kind of sucked. I gambled on the Northern Continent. I got bounced hard out of Waterfall, and with the data I gathered, I knew that Ordeals wouldn't be any different. That ice... Ugh.
To be fair to you, I think even like everyone was getting bounced out of Waterfall. That was just a brutal waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was worried about even when you had this thing. When I seen you even go in with 2 ribbons, I even pointed out to chat. I go, look, damage poison still hits hard. Blizzard still hits hard even when they resist it. And there's upwards of 9 of those things you can run into. He could still wipe here.
That was a very real possibility. It was a shootout on if I could get Nuke off before they went through their all 9 skills.
Oh, I didn't have Nuke when I did Waterfall. So I think I wiped at least a couple of times. That was probably the one thing that was hard. I don't even remember if Adamant let do something that was needed though. It's been so long.
I'm pretty sure it did.
It was the dwarves were the music smith this time. They had the chime.
Right.
I mean, it was interesting. I did a pre-interview with you a little bit, and you said you're going to do your basic strats, and then McGregly had pointed out, he goes, why is he in Earth Cave at full clearing this? This doesn't seem like something that, I'm used to seeing from him.
I'll give you 2 reasons for that. Number 1, I accidentally thought I was in go mode, and then I checked my inventory again because something was biting in the back of my head saying, no, your math isn't right. You shouldn't be in go mode with 2 items loose. With finding a ruby and incentive, there's something wrong. Look at your inventory. And I did, and I saw that the loot was missing. And by that point, I was on the 2nd floor of Earth and was like, well, we're here, and we're horrifyingly behind, so let's just full clear Earth and see what happens. Because we need to make a big gamble here, or we've probably lost.
Kind of YOLO then.
50-50 YOLO calculated.
Well, that's what I was and that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, well, with the way the seed's playing out, I think he's just making a gamble. He's like, you know what? I think Earth's here. Tyerenex is probably not going to check it, and with how it's going, we're probably in the same spot. I'm going to Earth. I mean, that's kind of what I thought it was, but now that you kind of said that it was a mistake thinking that you were in go mode, I mean, I could totally understand that too. I mean, a loose loot and armory, who would have thought?
I was hoping against hope, but by that point, I was just on pure proximity routing, opening literally whatever boxes are closest to me. And as I was going into Volcano, I'm just like, all right, if the loot is somewhere easy in here, I have probably had it. And sure enough, right there in the armory, staring me in the face.
Should be.
Yeah, it's that thing where I understand people being like, I don't want to double dip Volcano. I want to go there when I can finally clear it. And then every once in a while you get that one where it's just like Volcano's like, hey, just come to me early. Don't worry about it.
I thought about doing Volcano early, but at the point I was at the game, I didn't have a kill plan for carry. And the idea of just hoping for the best did not seem appealing. So I figured I would just come back later, and regardless of, no matter how bad Ice was, I knew I was entering with like 8 warp charges, so I could at least get the incentive and bail, and turns out it was the floater, so I really didn't need to go to Volcano.
I disagree about that, because I found Massa Moon there. That probably helped me a lot. Just doing Volcano, just the top floor, and after that, bailing to go to Ice after.
Yeah, it was literally 2 feet away from you. It was.
I regret nothing.
Right where the gray worm, the trap tile was, it was in one of those chests right there.
I regret nothing. Excal, perfectly decent weapon. I had Bonk, I got 2 ribbons, I got serviceable armor. I had so many wipes and deaths and just stepping on rakes in the early game that I just had to go. Like, no time to open anything, just go.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that because you had both the Excal and the Vorpal at that point, you just didn't really care whether or not you found the Mazza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
was Vorpal?
It was in Volcano at the hairpin.
Yeah, because I know I got Vorpal, and I was like, man, I got Excal.
The Will Cleosis would like to have a talk with you later, afterwards. It's going to be a private interview. The Volcanic's also in chat, too.
Yeah, GG's to you both. You both played really well. That was impressive, considering how awful that seed got in places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do see that MeleeWizard is continuing to at least play this one out. He's been chatting with us in the IRC chat, but he hasn't officially forfeited yet, so we're going to stick with him for at least a little while to see how it all plays out. But do you guys have any like final thoughts on your end? Anything that you took away from this race?
Sometimes town checks aren't a waste of time.
I'm actually dying right now.
Well, sometimes you just have to gamble, I think. Like, I felt my gambles were sound in skipping Marsh, and it worked out to not.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Ali. Chad had said that you had already 3 orbs down, and I'm looking over at LordFizzlebeef, and he only had 1 at the time, and I'm like, "There's no way!" And I'm like, "How did he do it?" And then we're watching you, and we interviewed, and you're like, "I went right to Ice Cave." I went, "How'd you make it through Ice Cave?" First of all, because I'm watching LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex trying to do it at higher levels, and they're just getting crushed.
I went at home. I was like, I don't really know. I just saw images had Fire Tree, and that's pretty much told me, okay, I'm not fulfilling this. I just checked the 3 chests, and that's it.
Images had Fire 3, Raids had Fire 2, Mummies had Blizzard. I believe that rounds out the list.
Well, I think I did. I power cycled. I had burned 3 encounters, and like the only thing I saw was images, and I was thinking I'm not even gonna check more than the 3 chests in the volcano, the floater room.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the sleepy, spicy spiders as well.
Those were annoying, yeah.
The sleep into what was the other? Oh, Fire 2.
Fire 2.
That's what they.
Sleep into something lethal. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. By the time I saw them, I was in Earth Cave and go modding it, so I couldn't really see a lot.
I think we call those habanero spiders. They were numbing, and then they killed you with fire. Well, GG's to you both. That was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
And while we got MeleeWizard here clearing up Sea Shrine going into Kraken, we've got more Final Fantasy Randomizer action going on tomorrow.
There's always more.
There, we just can't have enough. More Marsh Cave, please.
What do we got coming up?
Well, we got at 11:30 in the morning, the Mama Duck herself, Moist Magua, versus Magius. And then we got, looks like 3:30, or I'm sorry, 3 o'clock is Wilkliosis, or no, that's the next day, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Falconic versus Spellzap is the 3:30 tomorrow. Just as a point of correction for you, the Moist Mogwai Magius fight is on Sunday morning.
You are correct. I am so sorry.
No, you're good. That's why we have 2 of us in the booth, so we can correct each other.
That's right. Right you are, Ken. I mean, the Dark Moon.
Let's go back to the replay with that one.
Yeah. So at 3:30 tomorrow, we got Falconic versus Spellzap. We got the Challenge Seed creator himself against the up-and-coming, recently Duckling graduate Spellzap. Then at, what is it? 7? 5. Yeah, you're right. Hyro Fellows, which was a recent grad, I believe, before us, against Pizzapotamus. And we have One Fine Day versus Lord of the Synth at 6. So we have 3 matches that are going to be high octane. Wow. Those are... I actually want to watch all of them right now.
Oh, that's back-to-back-to-back great matches. And then the Moist Mogwai Magius one, as she puts it in chat, she's going to be taking Magius to Sunday brunch. I am actually going to be commentating that one as well, so I will see you guys there for that.
Oh, and I should say, I'm not the true Wilminati, but myself and the Wilkliosis will be broadcasting the Spellzap versus the Falconic tomorrow at 3:30.
You know, that's the thing, is when you look at the pyramid, it's a triangle. You got 3 sides to it. I consider you the 3rd side of the Illuminati at this point.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I'm kind of blushing right now.
Well, thanks to our runners. Make sure you give them a follow, AliGerbrap and LordFizzlebeef. We got MeleeWizard and Tyerenex as well. They all put in great showings. As I said, MeleeWizard is continuing onwards, and we're going to keep on following with them. until we run out of time or they decide to finish their seed one way or another. Make sure to follow our trackers as well, Ale and Moist Mogwai. Restreamer, who was our restreamer?
Makirito.
There we go. Give them some love as well. Make sure to follow my co-commentator, Dangwoo. You did a great job tonight, sir.
Oh no, sir. I followed your lead. You are the man, the myth, and the legend right there.
Now I'm blushing. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Well, on that note, then, let's go back to the action. MeleeWizard, I believe, is about to be on Kraken 1. Oh, nope, I lied. Yeah. He's still checking chess. He's almost there. He's in Shark.
They were kind enough to give us some time to do interviews while they were full clearing.
Hey, I understand.
Yeah. I'm honestly not certain if they've gone to Volcano yet. They're still fairly far behind on the number of key items from what the tracker is showing us. Of course, I'm assuming the tracker is correct at this point. They've done such a great job so far. It's just, with the amount of stuff we had going on in the late game, it was hard to keep up with everything that was in tracking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot easier with Ali because everybody's like, he's in go mode, he's already got 3 down. MeleeWizard. Who cares
what items he has? He's good to go.
All we know is he's like 10 minutes ahead of everybody else. He bypassed everything. We're gonna have to drug test all his good light warriors because
it is impressive, and LordFizzlebeef deserves credit at this because AliGerbrap was in Topher well before, and I mean, as far as like a head-to-head matchup, I would say that there was a good 12 minutes there that they went in, and he caught up and narrowed it to about 8 minutes there by the end of it.
Speed strats, best strats.
Yeah, my Topher wasn't great, personally.
I mean, you still clocked in an amazing time, so...
Yeah, I think, Ali, I think you went a little more safer with a lot of the other fiends. It seemed LordFizzlebeef was a lot more attack, more nukes off of them. I was able to kill them a lot quicker.
Yeah, my biggest problem was, I think in my Topher was not healing before Wissa had Grey Sharks fight, and like I lost the teeth there. And my ninja, it hurt me a bit, but that's also one thing I should have considered, but I probably didn't see what they had, and it hurt me there.
I lost my ninja to Kraken Hug, but I believe I carried everyone else the distance.
the good old Kraken Hug.
I was gonna say that's the primary job of the ninja is to show some love to Kraken and then guard the floor.
Yeah, but he's supposed to drop his nukes first.
Well, you can't rely on the ninjas for everything. We do have a question in chat about what's from Moreau. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Asking what happened with MeleeWizard, why they're so far behind everyone else. And it's just a simple matter of Waterfall was terrible. And from what we could see, they beat themselves against Marsh, and then they beat themselves against Waterfall, and it drained a lot of the life out of their run. And that's nothing to be blamed for on their part. They're fighting on and being troopers, but when you have like Whiz Mummies with damage poison, Mummies with Blizzard, and every other basic enemy seeming to have nasty spells all along the way, this is just the kind of seed where, like, if you get stuck in molasses, it just drags at you.
That's a great way of saying it. If you tried to go against the grain, like LordFizzlebeef and Tyerenex did, I mean, we say that because of hindsight, and that's what it became. It was a grind. It was through, the quicksand, and they had to battle through that for the entire time. If you bypassed it like what Ali did, it helped you out. You were so much quicker. Of course, though, at the same time, you kind of had to hope for good RNG to get through Ice Cave to get that floater, but, I mean, he did it, and he was ahead by a lot.
MeleeWizard, by the way, is now officially on the board at 1 hour 56 minutes and like 40-ish seconds, having taken out Kraken finally to get his first crystal lit.
Oh, yeah, so...
Good job for him. He's trooping through as best as he can.
He really is. And we've seen 2 hero runs. One from Tyerenex. He finally got the floater out of Marsh. Or, I'm sorry, not the floater. The ship out of Marsh. And he had to not save all the way to Elfland.
Oh.
Which he had to worry about the wolves with with Lit 2, which were very numerous, and the Spiders, which had Sleep and Fire too. And then we just see MeleeWizard, when he was getting out of Ice Cave, he was down to one white mage. He barely gets out, and he had to make the trip all the way back to the Crescent.
Yeah, those were the kinds of moments where you pay for the whole seat, but you're only using the edge.
I was gonna say, I had a hero run. I had to take my thief out of Marsh, but then I brought a house with me, so I was fine on the way back.
Cheater.
Yeah, how dare you sell that dragon armor for that extra the camping equipment? Who are you?
Yeah.
For like $9,000. Do
What
that every
was
time.
that?
That was me desperate for early cash and having a really expensive piece of can't wear it right now.
I mean, I'm not sure if you explored out the whole treasury to find the opal armor that was in there. Like, long run, it wouldn't have hurt you if you grabbed it.
I mean, and the best part about your run too, LordFizzlebeef, was it showed the power of the thief. Like, it just kept running. Hey guys.
That's why you bring a thief.
Yep.
Or you bring two like me, and you run into unrunnable wizards, and you cry.
Yeah, those are... A seed like this does show the benefit of a thief. Just because of the amount of times that being able to run quickly seemed to really aid in this whole matchup. I'd say probably just from the runs alone, you shaved about 5 minutes off of what the seed could have been otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I brought a thief mainly because I wanted the black mage. I knew we didn't have a black mage, so I wanted some kind of running ability, and I felt a thief is probably the best way to compensate that.
Agreed. And just a quick little shout out to Felconic. Have a good night, sir. Thanks for hanging out with us and helping us to get everything set up.
And props to MeleeWizard for still going. I mean, he knows that he's lost this one, but he's still trooping through. He wants to finish out, and that's part of what this game is like. Improving in this game is just when you're down like this, just keep going because the practice is just as important as the wins in the long run.
That's an excellent point because it's not just seeing the brick wall that is enough. It's knowing how you got past the brick wall and then in hindsight, how you could have done it better for the next time. Because, I mean, you commented that MeleeWizard just pressed and pressed and pressed against Waterfall until it relented. Sometimes one of the more important skills in this randomizer is identifying a challenge you can overcome in 5 wipes versus a challenge you overcome in 25 wipes. Because the latter one, unless it's the only option left, is almost certainly going to cost you in the long run, even accounting for having to backtrack all over the place later.
It's a skill that, I mean, I realize I'm still a duckling at this game, as I use the community term. It's a skill that I'm still picking up, but it's one of those things of, Dangwu and I were discussing it a little while earlier, is how many dives have you done on Marsh? Is it worth continuing right now? Do you jump out? I think he and I were both of the opinion that by the 5th wipe, we're like, you know what, we have the herb. Let's just go see what that dank herb gives us, because maybe this isn't worth it right now. And as Ali told us afterwards, it really wasn't worth it. So it's a lesson that a lot of the newer runners need to get, that I'm still working on. It's that how many times do you beat yourself at any dungeon? Do you have any other way of getting out of this? Is this absolutely essential? A seed like this, throw yourself at the marsh 3 or 4 times, and then maybe be like, this really isn't worth it right now. So I'm getting an update from Will Cleosis over in the chat, letting us know what matches are coming up. As we noted, the 11:30 a.m. match of Moist Mogwai versus Magius on Sunday. That's the one that I'm going to be commentating again. That's going to be a great one. Following that up, we have the 3:30 match of Will Cleosis versus Tarnin. They are both undefeated at, I believe, 2-0 right now, so that's going to be an awesome match. Both of those are on Speed Gaming, by the way. And then 7:30 on Sunday night, we have Shadow Walker versus Sonny Rap. They are also undefeated right now at 2-0. We're not certain where that one's going to be yet, Randomania or Speed Gaming. We'll keep you updated. I'm sure by the tomorrow's matches in the evening, they will know exactly where that's going to be. But stay tuned with us through all this. We have a great weekend of Final Fantasy Randomizer still planned for all of you.
And to bring up Lord Fizzlebeef's point is, I'm really, since I didn't see Crab Cakes' run, because I took her on yesterday and I had to forfeit because I got slightly triggered by it. But I'm definitely going to try and rerun that seed just to practice on it and learn what I could have done it differently. I'm going to run the same comp and see if I can work on it, because that was a challenge seed. That's something that a lot of our people do, is challenge seeds where things are up against you. Just kind of like how this seed was too. You know, you got to learn to be able to get past adversity or learn to get around it in a proper way. And that's something I need to do, obviously. And unfortunately, I went up against somebody who's the master of the challenge seed, the Crab Cakes herself. And if you go back and take a look at it, I believe it was on Speed Gaming 3, you'll see how she managed to get through it. You know, she bought that low-level ice spell, which is, you know, something that I didn't get. You know, a spell that maybe many runners may not have gotten because it's not a useful spell, you know.
Quote, unquote.
Yeah, a quote-unquote not useful spell, but in this case, she was able to do a lot of things with that ice spell that I didn't do. So that's something that any runners that want to, you know, become better at the game, watch what the Crab Cakes did in that. There was unrunnables everywhere. There was poisons everywhere. There was, you know, it was not an easy seed, and all you had was a wizard staff and stop. Good luck.
If I can give you a suggestion on that idea, I think it's a terrific idea, but your party comp, you mentioned going with double thief. I'm a thief enthusiast. I like them, I love them, I will stick them in every Swiss comp I can get, but only ever exactly one of them. Because thieves are amazing utility, but you can't build an entire party out of just utility, because then you start losing out on the main things they're supposed to do.
Well, unless you're Will Bloodworth.
Meh, there's an exception to every rule.
No, I think the Red Bloodworth only knows how to play with one thief. The one runner I'm really impressed with two thieves is Split Punch, who can really crush seeds with two thieves, and I don't know if anybody can play as well with two thieves than himself.
Little update with MeleeWizard. Finally got out of the waterfall. That leads to the chime, which opens up Mirage. But yeah, no, I know we're kind of getting off sidetrack with the race and everything like that, but as you said, Lord Fizzlebeef, it was a gamble on my part. I was not expecting unrunnable wizards. If it hadn't been unrunnable wizards, I would have been able to probably make use of it. And the fact that I forgot to sell the wizard staff, well, I kind of like the wizard staff. I could have sold the giant sword and bought 2 silver swords, and I could have killed Astos instead of, you know, trying to confuse him into killing himself.
Ugh, that sounds like it would have taken a while.
And yeah, we're getting confirmation now, so much after the fact, that the Dwarven weaponsmith here did indeed turn his adamant into instruments for the percussion section of the Dwarven marching band. He had the chime.
I like that way. I like that call. I like that call right there. So we're about to see
Still
Mirage.
don't think they've gone to the volcano yet, though, so they're going to be searching this whole dungeon for that loot still.
Oh, MeleeWizard doesn't have the loot?
I don't see it lit up. Yeah, and Sky is a long dungeon to full clear.
The good news is that, sure, it's a long dungeon to full clear, but you'll get a lot of levels out of it. Oh, that's bad news.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I am a big proponent of the early Sky. This particular seed, that strategy might not have worked out so well, but they're already bailing and going to turn that TNT, probably, as we are going to assume, to get that final ribbon.
Yep.
With the way that this seed worked out and how things were laid out, I might have done the early volcano, you know, backseat quarterbacking or whatever.
Sure.
But like when the cube and the chime both landed in your lap, I'm sitting there going, "Go Sky, because I love going early Sky. I'm dumb sometimes, but I love doing it. But in this particular instance, the early Sky was not the best play.
I would have done that play if I didn't hit the resistance I hit in Marsh and Waterfall and Ice. At that point, I was convinced with how far behind I was. I need to make offbeat plays that I wouldn't ordinarily do to try and get stuff out of areas earlier than I would, because I had a feeling that Tyerenex might follow me into Sky. So if I go to not Sky, I might find stuff.
Yeah, I get that. And, I mean, in this particular instance, it worked out in your favor. It's the game giveth and the game taketh away.
Mm-hmm.
So where's Melee? Are they headed off to Volcano? This is the right play if they... I don't think they realize it, but... good. There you go. This will get you into go mode. Okay, all they gotta do is head over to the Armory, although they'll probably go... Wait, nope. They are, in fact, going Armory first. This is the right play. Getting some quick EXP off of those EXPs. MeleeWizard is a trooper right here, still trucking onwards, trying to get through this seed, get the experience they need so that when they come back for the next week, they'll be able to blast through and hopefully put in a good showing. We got faith in you, Melee.
I believe in the ninja. I'm hoping he just uses the ninja.
Power of the ninja. And they're doing a full clear here, trying to get all the treasures, which they're going to be rewarded with that mouse boot along with that opal armor they just got. Although, they can't use the opal armor. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
So as long as MeleeWizard realizes it, they're in go mode now. They can just start clearing the bosses and getting through all of this. They've got a good weaponry loadout, good armor loadout. They just need the levels on their characters now, and they can cruise on through. I feel bad because I've kind of run out of stuff to talk about at this point.
Well, we get to watch the damage from a Masa, the wielding red wizard, a katana ninja, and a punching the master.
Yeah, he's punching for 255. I mean, he's level 18. Another 3 levels and you'll get his next break point, and that'll be a nice amount of damage for him. I mean, we saw with how the Temple of Fiends folds out. His level 21 wizard black belt by the time he gets there is gonna be plenty to take out what he has. Buff it a couple times, throw some defense swords. He's gonna be good to go. He's not gonna have any problems with that. It's just all the danger was in the early portions. So it looks like we're going to start wrapping it up at this point. MeleeWizard has put in a great showing. We are very proud to have seen him do this. I'm sure he's going to finish this one out, but we're going to start wrapping this up so we can free up speed gaming for the next games to come through. Dangwoo, you have any final thoughts on this?
I just would like to thank Speed Gaming, Falconic, Czar, Wilkliosis for helping out, you the fans out there for helping us out. I mean, I know this is a final remark kind of a thing, but I mean, that's all I kind of got. I mean, you guys make this possible. And Ali, well played, sir. You crushed it. You made the gambles, I guess you want to call it, and it paid off big. Lord, you showed us how to battle through some hard dives.
Battle through and put in a good time regardless. It was impressive on both counts. Once again, want to thank our runners. Make sure to give all of them a follow. LordFizzlebeef, Tyerenex, AliGerbrap, MeleeWizard, our trackers behind the scenes, Ale and Moist Mogwai. They did a great job there too. Give them a follow. Again, Falconic and Will Cleosis, thank you for all your help. Czar was in here as well, helping us all out. If you guys haven't followed all of them, make sure you give them your love, give them your support, give them a follow over on Twitch. I want to thank my co-commentator, the third of the three Wills, Dang Wu. You did a great job, man. I was happy to do this with you.
Once again, you're making me blush. I appreciate it. And you led me. Thank you.
I was very happy to do this. This booth was amazing. It was so much fun. Thank you, Speed Gaming. Thanks to all the fans. We couldn't have done this without you, and we will see you next time for Final Fantasy Randomizer.